It's time for Twit This Week in Tech. Renee Ritchie is here to talk about the new iPhone. He's had him for a while. We'll get his review. From Wired.com, Louise Matsakis, and of course, the wonderful Dwight Silverman. From the Houston Chronicle, we'll talk about taking cat pictures in the dark, how many monthly fees are too many, and why TiVo wants to put ads in my stream. It's all coming up next on Twit.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twit, This Week in Tech, episode 737, recorded Sunday, September 22nd, 2019. You could see the screw it in his eyes. This Week in Tech is brought to you by Kaptara. Find the right tools to make an informed software decision for your business. Visit Kaptara's free website at kaptara.com/twit. And by Calm, the #1 app to help reduce your stress, relax your mind, and help you sleep. Get 25% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/twit. And by ExpressVPN. Protect your online privacy with one click. It's that easy. For 3 extra months free with a 1-year package, go to expressvpn.com/twit. And by Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile provides the same premium network coverage you're used to, but at a fraction of the cost because everything's online. Mint Mobile makes it easy to cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month with their 3-month introductory plan. And get the plan shipped to your door free at mintmobile.com/twit. It's time for Twit This Week in Tech, the show where we cover the week's tech news. Oh, we're going to have fun today. My old friend I want to call you the Hamburglar, from Tech Burger, the Houston Chronicle's Tech Burger, Dwight Silverman is in the house. Hello, Dwight.
Hey, how are you? It's good to be here. High and dry finally here in Houston, where you had
like 5 storms in a row or something?
Well, we had Tropical Storm Imelda, which dumped in some of the deepest places about 43 inches. It was, for some people, it was the same thing as Harvey, and there was incredible flooding, particularly between here and Beaumont. And it's just, we had a story on the front page today that said, looked at the psychological impact of having all these floods and asking whether Houston is worth living in.
Oh,
anymore.
my God. I thought with the name Imelda,
despair.
And you're old enough to remember this this reference, I thought maybe shoes would rain down from the sky.
Yes, there were shoe jokes,
Yeah.
but it was serious, and
Yeah,
it
no
was the
kidding.
kind of thing where it came through, and it wasn't that much at first, and then on the last day when it was around, it kind of dumped this huge band, and this was on Thursday, and it took everybody by surprise. School was still in, and people just kind of got stuck where they were. It was pretty bad.
It's our turn next because this next month will be the anniversary of the fires in California.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking forward to some of that. Also with us from Wired Magazine, it's great to have Louise Matsakis. Hi, Louise. How are you? You're in beautiful New York where nothing bad happens.
Yeah, I'm in my living room and I have this, I always get comments on this when I do these video shows. I have this like old newsstand picture. You see that?
I love that.
Yeah, it's kind of fun for, the apartment of a digital journalist, but a lot of the magazines back there don't exist.
Mommy,
So
what's a newsstand? What are magazines, Mommy?
Yeah, exactly. I think it is 1994.
Is it a photo or a painting?
It is a print. It's a print painting. Yeah. So that's
really
fun to have.
It'd be a good
stack of papers.
Maybe it's just me, but every time I look at that, I go, "Oh, it'd be a good jigsaw puzzle." I don't know why.
Yeah, it'd be a good puzzle for sure. Yeah. You got the Gulf War up there. A lot of good stuff on the covers of those magazines. But yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Louise covers e-commerce, online culture at Wired. She's a staff writer there. That is a great picture of you.
Thanks. Yeah, that's what I look like in real life.
Yeah, she's black and white, inky eyes, kind of soulless.
And
I know
shark
people,
eyes.
really.
Also here, guy who usually shows up on Tuesdays, but we thought we'd bring him in for the iPhone discussion, Renee Ritchie from Vector at imore.com. Hello, Renee.
Hi, Leo. I showed up early and you were just kind enough to let me join you.
I love having you. Yeah, right. He's just going to stay through Tuesday. I love having you on the show. It's great to have you. And I guess we probably should talk about the iPhone. Actually, tonight's the Emmys, and Apple's already won a Creative Arts Emmy. They give those early, second year in a row for Carpool Karaoke. Don't all jump up at once.
I was just thinking like TV Plus might change that next year.
Yeah. I don't feel like Carpool Karaoke deserves an Emmy, especially without James Corden, but okay.
Best show in a car? I don't know what the criteria was.
What is the short? Oh, this is why. Short form variety series. How many of those are there?
Yeah, what is another example? Like the losers here.
There's one.
Yeah. I won an Emmy.
Microsoft the Musical?
I won an Emmy for exactly the same reason. I was in the category specialty acts.
Is that true?
Yes. It was me and a sock puppet. And it wasn't a hard thing to beat. I kid you not.
Well, Leo, Friends were lucky you weren't in their category. Maybe that's how they're thinking.
Yeah, those Friends. This was in 1996 or 97 when I was a virtual reality character. And that was the only category they could put it in because I was just like, I was an imaginary barista.
On your desk.
Yeah, I do. I get
that desk.
Oh, should have it just sitting here. Yeah, I carry it with me everywhere, Dwight. I'm always, have you seen
He wears
Miami?
it like AirPods.
It's only been 20 years. Have you seen Miami?
That's right. You call it football.
So, congratulations to Carpool
to you and
Karaoke
to Apple
in the short form variety
Is
series.
that Apple's first Emmy?
No, this is even there. This is the second year in a row Carpool Karaoke has won.
But it's only for the show, right? There's something else Apple's ever won an Emmy for, right?
That's a good question. And do you think, given what you've seen of the new Apple shows on TV Plus, we've only seen the trailers, that anything looks Emmy-worthy? Maybe that morning news show.
And the space show, the
space show pisses
For
me
All
off.
Mankind.
Yeah, For All Mankind. It pisses me off because the premise is, what if we didn't land on the moon first, the Soviets did? Well, screw you, we did.
But then the space
The
race
hell
never
with
ends,
you.
Leo.
Yeah, but
That's
no.
the thing.
I don't like that premise. We did land first. They never got there.
I know, but now in their universe, the space race goes on, so there's better space development.
No.
Yes, it works out better.
Is the Soviet Union still in business in this
Probably,
show?
Maybe.
It's kind of like
They win the Olympics.
The space version of The Man in the High Castle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's, in fact, I guarantee you, Dwight, that's how they pitched it.
Oh, sure.
It's the space version of The Man in the High Castle. Oh, you're sold.
Man in the High Shuttle.
The Man in the High Shuttle. So
there's a lot of interest in that here in Houston because we want to see how it came out.
Yeah, who really won?
That's right.
I feel like here we are.
Next year will be Marvel versus it'll be Disney versus Apple vying for those categories and who can spend the most on the campaigns.
I just feel like it's the 50th anniversary this year of landing on the moon. There's been already that horrible Man on the Moon movie, which just pissed me off because it implied that Neil Armstrong's family distress was more important than him being the first person on the moon. It just peeved me no end. And then
they do that.
It's like, come on, guys, this was an important thing. So speaking of important things, much more important than landing on the moon, I've got a camera, 3 of them on my iPhone now, 3 lenses.
So many lenses, Leo. So many lenses.
Are you going to take a selfie?
Huh? You want to take a selfie? We could do a slow-fee. You want to do a slow-fee? Let me see if I can get you all in.
Hold on, I got to pretend like I have hair.
No, you know what, Renee? You're too far over for the slow fee.
No, with the widening, what's the new? Isn't there like a new widening?
Yeah, I got you. I got
85 degrees wide angle.
So there you go. You have to do something. You have to move if it's a slow fee. Here's my
Star Trek set.
Here's my slow fee. Oh my God! You know what? I'll post this on the interwebs.
Great.
Oh yeah.
Is there a slowfee.com yet?
Yes, it's funny. That's a painful subject, a sore subject.
Funny you mentioned that.
Funny you mentioned that. So we're doing the event on Tuesday. Micah Sargent and I, we do that stream. Here, how do I get the movie to play again? Oh, there's the play button. This is a slow fee.
That's artistic.
Isn't that artistic? I'm putting that on my. I'm an influencer now. So Micah Sargent and I are watching the event, and they do the Slofi thing, and he quickly starts typing. And I see he's on hover.com. I thought, oh, God, he's going to try to register Slofi.com. And he did.
ChihuahuaSlofi.com, I bet.
He registered Slofi.com.
He got Slofi.net.
.net, but it's spelled SLOPHIE. And I said,
No.
I said, Micah, I think it's spelled with an F.
Yeah, Slofi is the science. Slofi with an F is the camera.
I think he ought to do, there should be a site there of just spectacular fails.
So who.slofi.com?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Nothing's coming up.
Don't you think Apple goes, Phil Schiller, the day before the event goes out and registers all that stuff?
On a self account.
Who is? Let's see. Does it? It appears to be owned by Google.
What?
No.
That's great.
Well played, Google. Well played.
I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon.
It's registered through Google Domains, probably, right?
Yeah, they're the registrar. They're not the registrant. They're not the person who's registering.
Well, this would be kind of funny if Apple registered through Google Domains. That would be kind of humorous.
Yeah, no, it looks like whoever has it is private. So whoever has
it's Apple. It's got to be
probably Sergey Brin. No, it's Sergey Brin.
Sergey Brin. He said, I'm taking. Who has SlofiSucks.com?
Oh,
that's always
that's
the
a good one to have.
So, you have one, Dwight. I have an iPhone 11 Pro Flomax.
I've already taken cat pictures in the dark.
And
nice.
And
they look great.
All right,
they look great. It's
nice.
Really the video, the photo quality. So this is my cat. The room was actually pretty dark. And
whoa,
Aww.
That looks perfectly brightly lit.
It does. It looks like a normal lighting, and it's really, and this is mostly what I do with my camera is cat pictures in the dark. So I'm really excited.
If you put it on a tripod, you can get an astrophotography picture of your cat in the dark.
I've seen people doing that. I've seen sky photos already with those.
28 seconds.
Really? Using Focus or using the Apple app?
No, using the Apple app, but it'll only come on when it detects no movements. You've got to put it on a tripod, and then it'll let you pull the little dial all the way to 28.
Scooping Google a little bit on that one, because, of course, astrophotography is one of the things Google talked about in the sneakily released. Actually, this is an interesting question. There was a promo video of the Pixel 4, which isn't out yet. Google presumably announcing it October 15th. And there was a video that was, leaked somehow. Somebody got it and showed astrophotography. And I think some people think Google intentionally does these leaks. I'm sure
they do.
Do you?
They do. And particularly in this case,
year,
they actually have.
Well, this year they've admitted it. They said, well, because of all the leaks, we're going to show you the back of the phone.
Yeah, right.
But this one nobody took credit for this. This was a leaked. What is that you have?
Oh, I think.
That's the astrophotography.
Oh, so you did it.
You put it on the tripod, and then if you tap the little yellow icon, it gives you a dial, and you can pull it down to 0 to turn night mode off. Normally up to 3 to go to full night mode, but if it's totally stable, you can pull it all the way to 28 and then just sit there while it slowly resolves all the stars in the sky, which is pretty neat.
There really is parity between Google and Apple at this point in terms of.
We did a test. We took out the P30 Pro, the Samsung Galaxy Note 10, the Pixel 3, and the iPhone 11. And just to make sure it wasn't me, I brought Hayato Hausman of Android Central and Michael Fisher, who does Mr. Mobile, and we all three did it together. And the way I would sum it up is, so Huawei has magnificent hardware, absolutely stunning hardware with terrible color science and algorithms. And Google has mediocre camera hardware with the world's most spectacular algorithms. Samsung is just, I don't know, they're trying their best. They turned my beard into plastic, which was very unusual.
They simultaneously over-sharpen and over-smooth.
Yes.
And so it's like you get the worst.
It's like schmeary, and Apple's got pretty good hardware and pretty good algorithms. Not as good hardware as Huawei, not as good algorithms as Google, but because they have both of them, 100% photo pixels and really good light intake, plus pretty good algorithms, they managed to compete with Google, and I think that's pretty interesting.
Honestly, for normal people, they'd be happy with any of those. Really, I don't think they're gonna. It's only if you compare them side by side that you even Could see
if Dwight's cat looked plastic and bright green, he might not be so happy.
I have to say, I still think that the iPhone video is the best.
Oh,
like, no matter
everybody agrees on that.
Yes.
And
I think that's increasingly important. Like, even if you have amazing still photography, if you can't get a great video with with the needs of the average person, they want to upload like videos to TikTok and stuff.
And the new image stabilization is pretty amazing.
I just thought of 60 frame per second interleaved extended dynamic range TikTok, Leo. That's where our culture is going.
What are you talking about?
The new iPhone camera shoots 120 frames per second, uses half of that for extended dynamic range, and makes a 60 frames per second 4K video, and it could be a TikTok meme. I'm just saying.
Here is from Reddit a post showing image stabilization. In the far left, same thing. The guy's running along in a field. On the far left is the iPhone 11 Pro Max. The middle is the 10s Max. The right is the Note 10. And it's pretty clear that the image stabilization in the 11 is really good on the far left. That's the smoothest of the three. Now that's,
They're trying hard to keep the color the same as you move through different lighting situations.
Yeah, actually, I wish he'd gone into shadow because that would have been an interesting test of it. Yeah. Nevertheless, that's impressive. I agree with you, Louise. I think especially, and it's not out yet, but they showed this on stage at the Apple event, when Filmic Pro comes out, which is a third-party app, it will, apparently this is a feature in iOS 13, it will be able to shoot video from 2 or more of the lenses. So you can have the selfie cam on at the same time as you have the back camera on, and tape an interview and record both sides of the interview. And then in editing, you don't have to do a second,
And your close-up and wide angle, and you can switch between them in the editing.
Do you know, Renee, yet? It's not out yet, but if that will use
I got to try it.
You did get to try it. Can it do more than 2 lenses?
So I got conflicting information on it. A couple people said it was limited to 2, but the demo I did was shooting all 4. So I don't know if that's what the real capability is, or if that was something they're experimenting with and are not sure they're going to launch. But the demo I did with it was 4 cameras.
So imagine that. I mean, I'm thinking of taking this to CES because then I could shoot a close-up, a wide angle.
Yep.
I mean, I could and I could have my image on there. I mean, that's
your reaction shots, Leo.
Leo
reacts to those.
That's a testament to actually the speed of the processor, right, and the speed of the storage that it can do.
Right. So let's back up a little bit. What would you do with all 4? Like, what would
edit them? So here's the scenario, Louise.
You put them together later.
Yeah, I'm at CES. I get them all recording, and then when I edit it, I can have a wide angle of me standing there with a guy. I can have a picture of me asking him questions, close up of the product. I can have all of that. And then our editors pick and choose. It's like a 4-camera shoot. Of course, the camera's in the same position, so it's not as good as a 4-camera shoot. But
it's still, I mean, that's a lot. I feel like the 2 or 3 makes sense, but the 4 is like
4
really
is more than you need.
Yeah, I think that's more than you need.
Yeah, 4 is okay.
I can tell you in newsrooms there's a lot of discussion about this particular camera and the use of it for journalism and being able, as you said, to do interviews, to show events as they happen and have narration at the same time. A lot of photojournalists are really interested in this.
Well, and I'm sure all of you have done this. I certainly have. When you're going out in the field to do reporting, very often you go with a camera crew, but there's only one camera, and you're doing an interview. So you have to do the dumbest thing, which is you ask your subject the camera's pointed at the subject. You ask him a bunch of questions. He records his answers. Then you go, "Thank you very much, goodbye." The camera goes and starts pointing at you, and now you have to pretend. You have to go,
Yep.
You have to pretend you're listening to the guy, which is totally phony. Because you only have one camera, so you can't get that shot unless you do it twice.
Bridges movie? That Jeff Bridges movie, that Network. It wasn't Network. It was him and Holly Hunter. They did the same. It was a trope on that.
It wasn't Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
Was it?
No, it was the other guy. You're talking about broadcast news.
Oh, okay.
Broadcast.
It wasn't Jeff Edward. Jeff. It was what's his name? This is the wooden guy.
Right. Yes.
The guy made out of wood.
Yes.
Yeah, that actor.
That one.
Chat room will tell us in a second. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. But everybody's done it. If you've done any TV, that's how they do it, because very rarely would you have two cameras. William Hurt. That's the actor
For
made
some
out
reason,
of wood.
I always get him and Jeff Bridges mixed up. I don't know why.
Thunderbolt Ross.
They're not even close. One's the dude, one's the wooden guy.
They're
All right.
the same person in my mind.
I don't want to make this an iPhone, isn't it great thing. So, but I guess we need to cover it a little bit. I think there's a lot of people who watch these iPhone events and say, "Oh, I got to have the new one," and then as I did, and then but I have to get it anyway. But anyway, I get it and I go, "Well, yeah, it's nice. It was not $1,000 or in my case $1,459 nice." And Louise, you're still using a 6S, an 8?
No, I have a 7 Plus is what I have.
And you're perfectly happy. And for 90% of what you do, it's the same, right?
Yeah, I will say that like that camera thing for work is very compelling, but at the same time, I'm just hesitant to will that be enough to compel me to buy another $1,000 phone that I know the screen is going to break, like I know there's going to be problems with it. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I haven't found something that really compelled me to upgrade. I think now the phones also like really look the same. I will say the one thing that kind of was compelling to me is I think they did the colors really nicely this year. Like I love the new colors,
Okay.
but that's like a minor
That's a
thing.
terrible reason to buy a phone.
Right, exactly. But yeah,
Show us the color of your current phone. So
I have some funny stickers on it. But
you don't care. You got a case and stickers on it.
But it's the black one, yeah. It's the black. But I will say, like hold up the new one. Like, how different do they really look aside from the camera, right?
Cameras?
It's the Terminator camera is the thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's that weird camera, and like I do think that's kind of compelling. But yeah, see, like even the black one here, like that one really just looks like my phone, except for the camera.
Right. Normal people. It's those of us in the tech press who are saying, "Oh, that A13 Bionic has 24 pipelines and 6 cores. Plus, it's got. I mean, it's in a very impressive chip. Actually, Malik was Wired, right? Malik did a whole ode to the A13.
Yeah. Well, okay. I will say, in normal people's defense, I do think that there are a couple of things that are really compelling about these new devices for normal people, and the big one is the battery, right?
That is huge.
Really extended battery life, and that is a huge thing for a lot of people. Huge. And I think that's I just don't know like how much better is your Instagram going to be, even though these cameras are a lot more powerful. But I do think, for teens filming TikToks, having that front and back facing camera honestly might be a game changer. Like there's going to be new forms of content because of that. And that might be something that people have FOMO about, because there are a lot of kinds of TikToks and a lot of YouTube videos and these sorts of things that have that, exactly as you said, the fake 2 shots because it's only one iPhone.
The Slow-fee. Got to have the Slow-fee, baby.
I think that is wrong. I think I don't know why they thought that was going to be a good idea. If anything, like where I feel like meme culture is going is speeding it up. Like most memes, most YouTube videos are sped up. They're not slowed down.
This is why we have you on, Louise. You have your finger on the pulse of the Utes.
I'm addicted to TikTok. What can I say?
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You're the TikTok queen.
Yes, I love TikTok. I'm a huge fan.
So that is a really sad commentary that they're designing phones now for teens filming TikToks.
Well, I mean, they're good. They're a big consumer base, right?
That's
like you got to get kids hooked. You like it's what do they want for Christmas? I think that's going to be a big driver. And I think a lot of teens too, and like younger people are the ones who are like, "Hey, mom, dad, like you need to upgrade your phone because you need to have X feature or whatever."
Right.
I think it's moms who are like, my mom still has an iPhone 6. And like, if I don't tell her you need to upgrade, like, why would she?
My mom won't. I tried to get her upgraded and she says, no, I like my headphone jack. Thank you.
There you go. Exactly. Right. That's a big thing too. So, yeah.
So one big thing about upgrading, particularly this year, I was not going to get, I had a 10S Max. I was not going to get the Pro Max until I saw what the camera could do, and I became really intrigued by that. I also was really interested in the extra 5 hours of battery life in the Max. But
let me ask you though, Renee and Dwight, because you've got it. Have you noticed like the battery? I mean, I guess we haven't had it long enough to.
Haven't had it long enough.
Yeah.
No. But the thing that actually tipped me over was I'm on the iPhone upgrade plan, and I've been paying, per month for, a couple of models now, and I definitely wanted to get the one next year because it likely will have 5G. I still would be paying on my XS Max through next year. Why not go ahead and keep paying and have the newer one?
Yeah.
And so I went ahead and did it with all the other factors. And I think the way people pay for it now has become a factor in terms of why or whether they upgrade.
Right. Like I finally paid off my 7, and that's why I don't want to get another one, because I'm like, I don't want to add that bill. And that's an interesting point, because I wonder, will people consider that charge when they're thinking about these new Apple services? Like, will they think about, well, I'm already paying $40 for my iPhone a month. Do I really want to pay another $20 for gaming and other sort of Apple News and all this other stuff? Like, I wonder if people will psychologically consider what they're already paying to Apple, or if they won't, if they'll consider those things the way that they think about Netflix or whatever, which is what Apple wants, I think.
What do real people think?
No, I asked some people who were lined up. They had the big Fifth Avenue Apple store reopening on Thursday, and they had the lineups on Friday.
Did you go there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I want to hear about that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I asked, and I've heard this answer over and over again, and there's always at least a few people in line who say, this is the camera I take the photos of my children with. I will never be able to go back in time and get better photos of them. So every year I want to take the absolute best photos I can. And that's when they see a compelling camera update, they take it.
So get a good camera, for crying out loud. What are you doing with an iPhone? Jeez.
Well,
It's
they don't want
easier
that
to
good
carry.
pictures of the kids, Leah.
It's easier to carry. You don't.
It's all right. I have a wrist
you
strap
don't have
for
to
my
plug that
camera. I
around.
just put it on my wrist.
Yeah.
Actually, I shouldn't say that, because
but when
I
it's like a
dropped
kid
my
or a pet.
brand new camera the first day I had it. It landed on my brand new lens, snapped the hood off. I have to bring the lens in for repair, and the camera's a little scratched up. So, yeah, maybe I should stick with the phone.
When you're talking about a kid or a pet or something, time from pocket to snap is really important, and the reliability of it actually recording that image is really important.
I agree.
I think Louise actually is probably speaking for a lot of people with it. My phone is good enough, and I don't feel like I need to do it. It's paid off, and I don't really see the benefit to it. But the one you have, Louise, the 7 Plus,
a great phone.
That's a great camera. That camera is one of my favorite iPhone cameras. The colors were great.
And it's 98% of what the new one is, except for a few weird features.
And $40 a month is not nothing.
Right.
Like I don't.
Well, I want to address that question you asked, which is, when do people stop saying, I can't pay yet another monthly fee? Because Apple's counting on you buying TV Plus and Arcade and Apple News, Apple Music. They've got a lot of monthly fees. Yeah,
like you can be paying basically $100 at this point for your iPhone plan, plus if you're getting all of the extra services, right? And I don't know if people are making that connection, because that $40 payment is showing up on your cell phone bill. So I don't know if a lot of people really realize what's happening when they go and sign up and get the contract and get the phone or whatever. I don't know if they really understand.
Is it worse? Let me ask you this: is it worse to pay $40 plus $10 plus $10 plus $5?
But is that really so?
Is that worse than paying $65? Is that which is worse, or is it the same? Do people know in their head, it's $65 either way?
Incremental sneaks up on you.
I feel like it's worse. I feel like nobody wants to have 4 bills. They're like you're chipping away at your financial success.
Can I ask you this, Leah?
I forgot iCloud. Yeah, there's another one. Yes, go ahead, Renee.
Yeah, no. So I remember, when I was younger and I wanted to subscribe to comic books or magazines, or you go to the newsstand and you could never buy every magazine or every comic on the newsstand. So you had to pick and choose the ones that were most important to you. And I got 3 or 4 subscriptions a year, mostly on my birthday or the holidays. And that was it. I had to make do. And you never got the biggest cable package. You had to choose sort of the one that fit your budget. And there was no streaming music, so you had to pick which CDs every month you could buy. I think our attitudes have changed, and that now we just expect everything. And music has already been smashed down. So music is, instead of buying a bunch of CDs every month, is one rate. Magazines are now smashed down. So you don't have to choose anymore which magazines you got. You're getting pretty much all the magazines effectively for one price. TV is still a mess. You still have to choose the TV, and that may not change for a while. But we're getting vastly more content. We can't even conceal the amount of content we're getting. And just because there's more available, we feel like we're compelled to have to get it all.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. And I think it's kind of, you do need to still pick and choose. Like, I think that if you're really trying to get every streaming service at this point, but what people do, I think, is that everyone has access to almost every streaming service because they're getting their friend's password.
That's what you young people are doing.
Or they do it 1 month, right? They switch every month to a different service and binge everything they want.
Churn is a big deal. Churn is a big deal. I'm going to drop Apple News because I have discovered we have a company account for the Wall Street Journal. The main reason I got Apple News is because I wanted to have Wall Street Journal content, and now I have it through the company. And
I'm going to dump Netflix.
But I have no problem dropping and adding things. Like I will pick up HBO now only when there's something on that I want to see, and I'll drop it, and I go back and forth. And pretty much my subscription thing stays about the same and stays relatively tolerable because I have no mercy in terms of cutting.
Spending a lot of brain cycles on juggling all this stuff.
It's easier now, though, too.
Don't most people just subscribe and subscribe and subscribe, and then 1 year they look at their bill and go, "My God, I've got a lot of."
No, the price increase comes, and when the price increase comes, you go, what Netflix is at $13,000 a month now. What?
Yeah. Right. No, that's a good point. When YouTube TV went from $35 to $50. I canceled it. It was like, okay, that's annoying.
Netflix has gone up like 3 times, I think, over the last few years.
On the other hand, there's another model that's even worse, and that's TiVo's model. So you pay $500 for a TiVo, and then $200 for the lifetime subscription to the cable guide. So I'm now $700 in on a TiVo. And TiVo just announced, and by the way, we're going to put an ad at the beginning of all your DVR recordings.
You pay for the movie ticket, you're stuck in the theater, and now you're watching 20 minutes
money
of
back.
ads before the movie.
I hate you. Right. That's awful. And it's just an ad. It's not the end of the world. But
I bought a DVD player and it had ads. Like I paid for the DVD player. I took it back. I could not handle it.
Yeah, I remember my Samsung TV would show ads. It was just driving me nuts.
My Samsung DVD player showed ads. I took it back.
Buy something for that kind of money.
Or Blu-ray player, sorry.
So $700 out, and actually that's just one TiVo, and I have 3 or 4 in my house.
But advertisers will always pay more than consumers, and they want that money too.
I wish there was some way I could cancel my TiVo subscription, but I can't because it was all up front.
Yeah, I mean, I think for some reason, I think one of the most offensive advertising after you buy is the screensavers on the Kindles. Have you guys seen these? It is always the most insane book you've ever seen because it's not a bestseller and it's just on your Kindle where your Kindle is sitting there. That's just.
But Louise. To be fair, you bought the ad-subsidized Kindle. You didn't buy you had a choice.
Go away. Yeah, you can make that go away. But it's just, you have this device in your house. It's the same thing with the TV. It's the same, but I think it's just so funny to watch those screensavers go on. They're kind of amusing. But yeah, that's kind of the model that we've got ourselves into. And you're right. Advertisers are always going to pay more for that than the consumers want to. But I just think we're in this subscription economy right now. And I don't really know how it's going to play out and who the winners and losers are going to be.
Yeah. It's an interesting world we live in. Now, I'll tell you one subscription that Apple has launched that I think deserves more attention. It kind of got swamped by the iPhone. Yeah. But for $5, Arcade is a great deal. You agree?
It's so much fun.
It's getting great reviews.
It's so much fun.
And that's a $5 I'm happy to spend because I'd spend that much probably.
And it's for the family.
Right. And I can do it on my TV.
The thing that killed me over this weekend is I bought so my godkids have been using my Switch so much that I basically don't have ownership of it anymore. So I bought the new one for them with the better processor and the better battery life. And then I found out that the games are locked to the console, not to the account.
What?
So I have to buy if I want to keep. Yeah, it's they've got this incredibly rigid copy protection where you have to buy the physical cartridges repeatedly if you have them on different.
That's awful.
Matthew Panzarino and Stephen Kovac were trying to explain it. And then I'm thinking Apple Arcade is $5 a month for the whole family, and I'll just, they have iPads, they have iPhones, or older version of my iPhones, but they can still play on them.
The games aren't.
$5, that's it. You're done.
The games aren't quite as good as the Nintendo Switch, though.
Nowhere near, but there's unlimited amounts of them, and impatience I think is a bigger. You buy the console and you feel duty bound because it was $60 to finish everything, but these you can just download and play at your leisure.
They're kind of, forgive me, this is not a good image. They're kind of toilet games.
Right. So this is my question.
That's a terrible image, isn't it? I'm so sorry.
Backseat of the car games.
Thank you. Backseat of the car games.
But, this is still a big change in consumer behavior. And it'll be interesting to see because Apple taught everyone that these games were supposed to be free, right? And that they were just going to be ad supported.
I think they feel guilty, Louise. I think Apple says we screwed up. We changed the game ecosystem, made all these freemium games. Everybody's pissed off about it. No?
Who's everyone? Like the developers are pissed off about it?
No, developers love it. They make a lot of money. Look at Fortnite. Look at Tim Sweeney.
Well, the big studios love it. I think the indie game devs are pretty nonplussed about it.
Yeah, and like those ads are. You're right. It's a toilet game. It's like ad pops up on the toilet game, and you're like, oh, but you're fine with it. And I think that was what Apple kind of taught us was okay, right? And so I think the idea of paying a monthly fee for that and having it be a little bit more elevated is appealing to a lot of people, but it was this belief that you could just download this cheap game, right? And I don't know, are people going to want to subscribe in that way? I think that's a shift.
Not every game is Fortnite. I've spent a lot of money because Fortnite you can actually play without buying anything. You may be mocked by your peers for having
if you want the Batman suit,
average
Leo,
costume.
You want the Batman suit.
Oh, you're such a default. But you can play, and the game's still fun. But like Simpsons Tapped Out, I spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on donuts. And
Pokemon incubators, Leo. I don't want to think about it.
And or whatever, red fish or whatever it is. And that, I think in the long run, it upsets people. So the idea that I feel like Apple almost was trying to they created a crack in the cosmos, and they're trying to heal it by doing
and no
arcade.
Big studios will do it, and it's fine. They'll still have their games. Big franchises will still have their spot, and there'll be a bunch of other stuff. But for people who just don't want that anymore or want an alternative to it, they at least have an alternative.
Do you have a game you like on it?
I haven't had too much time to play because I've been doing just a gazillion other things. But I'm blanking on the name. I like the card game where you go into the subconscious of the kid and you're playing through his memories.
Yeah, it's like the
and
90s
you're manipulating the
all
cards
over
to have them.
Yeah.
It's card drop I'm just totally blanking on the name, and you're building little traverses puzzles for him.
The cards fall.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
the
I'll try
Snowman games
that.
are good.
The which ones?
Snowman, they have a couple games on there. They made Alto's. I think they made Alto's Adventure,
Alto's
and they've got a
good.
couple games on here.
So I think that's what's happening is you see the same names. Like each studio made several games, or a lot of the studios made several games, and they're not super complex. Oceanhorn is as complex as the original Oceanhorn was. Oceanhorn 2. I like the What the Golf for people who hate golf.
Yes,
it's so much fun. You think you're going to shoot a ball, and then it turns out you're shooting a house or a car or a kid or a club or all sorts of weird stuff. It's a very fun game. Somebody in the chat room says he hated the Frogger game, but I kind of like that.
That's I think the nostalgia play. Like people can recognize that brand name, and then they get something to latch on to.
There's giant babies. That's fun.
Yeah.
Do you play any arcade games, Dwight, at all?
I have not yet signed up for it for about the same reason that Renee mentioned he hadn't had a chance to play. I've got the beta of tvOS 13 right now on my Apple TV. I'm kind of waiting for it to show up there. So far, I don't have access to it there. But once I do, that's what I'm most interested in, to see what this looks like on the bigger screen.
We got a bunch of people in the studio who are developers, VR game developers. They came out for the Oculus conference. What do you guys think of arcade? I mean, there's no VR version, huh?
It's not.
There's AR.
Oh, you don't have it yet. You'll get it on. You'll get it Tuesday.
It's only. I do have it. I've played lots of the games.
Oh, because you have 13.
It's not on iPad. It's only iPhone. The arcade's been released.
Yeah, for the moment, that's right.
I'm playing it on an iPad.
Oh.
You need 13.1.
You're on the beta.
You need 13.1. It's great on the iPad, but it's actually a lot of the games are designed for the phone. I think.
Thing.
Do you think it's a good thing?
Yeah, I know hundreds of iOS developers now, and I think generally it's pretty toxic. All the cache for stuff.
They don't like that. They don't want to. They don't want to be doing
especially
that.
Especially indie devs. It's pretty bad.
You get a lot of hate from parents.
Yeah, you've got words like whales and all these big words, and you need a lot of cash to prime pump and customer acquisition, all these things which indie's on.
What I worry a little bit about is that arcade's going to eat up the rest of the industry. That people, I mean, anybody who spends $5 a month on arcade has 100 games, new games all the time. Why should I ever buy another game? I got them all.
They'll still want Fortnite, Leo.
Maybe. Fortnite, yeah, but see, Fortnite is such an outlier. You can't ever use it in this conversation.
But the other ones were too hard to bring to to market. Like I talked to a bunch of developers there, and they had dreams to make games that there was just no, either they would have to butcher them so thoroughly with pay-to-play features that they could not live themselves to launch it, or they just couldn't launch it. And this is giving them an outlet.
That's
for
the sense I get when I play these games. Is these are in some ways these are art projects. These are games, labors of love that developers wanted to make but couldn't really make. It made no business sense.
Especially for the Mac or Apple TV, there was no way that they would have the time or resources to make those versions.
Yeah, I think the problem Apple is have so much power. So they did that with freemium by allowing that and not allowing demo versions of games, by kind of steering the developer. They steered the developer into this freemium model, not, I don't think intentionally, but accidentally. And now I think they felt a little guilty about it. So they've created arcade. They have so much clout, though, that this could really change gaming in some dramatic ways.
But in a good way.
Well, maybe in a good way, maybe not. I mean,
if the experience overall becomes better, if it doesn't become, if it takes away a lot of the pain points or one of the annoyances, I think that overall it's a good thing. The question is whether it will have an impact anywhere else or whether Apple will just be this island.
It's going to kill Candy Crush. That is good. Everybody agrees that is good, right?
So what are some of the annoyances? Like, are you talking about like these like kind of spammy ads? Like, what are some of the annoyances?
Yes. The loot boxes and that kind of thing, which I don't believe are allowed in arcade. I don't think they're
they're not. There's no in-app purchases at all.
Right.
Plus, they all can be played offline, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that frees up developers to be making things that are fun, right? Instead of things that are like, how can we get them to spend more money? How can we lure them towards the loot box or lure them towards the extra armor that costs $5.99 or whatever? So I think that could be good, but I just wonder how conditioned consumers are not to pay for these games, and to that's been the model, is that you can download Candy Crush for free, right? Or it's a one-time fee, and I just wonder. But at $5, I think that's pretty cheap.
That's why I think $5 is a good price,
and it's for your whole family.
Yeah,
it's not just you,
and it's hundreds of games, and you can refresh them all the time,
and more every month. You have Stadia on the other side, Leo, which is going to crush from the exact opposite vertical with always streaming any device.
Well, we'll see.
A bunch of studio names. Well, I mean, theoretically, you do, like you said, to your point, Apple is giving a whole tab of the App Store to arcade. That is some of the most valuable software real estate in the world.
Yeah.
And Google is going to be promoting Stadia. I don't know if it's going to promote it that much, but it probably will. And you have these massive platforms sort of trying to reposition gaming both at the same time.
I don't know. This may just be me. I was a little mad that Apple took away the tab that says update and put arcade there. So now in order to update, you have to tap on your head and you have to scroll up because it's below the fold and you can see all the stuff. And I think Apple, though, changed update behavior. In the past, you tell me if I'm wrong here. In previous versions of iOS, even though I turned on auto update, it never seemed to update. I had to go in there every week and make sure everything got updated. Now I notice everything is being auto updated. And I'm wondering if that's what's happened.
They made two changes. I think the batch processing is faster intervals. Before they would wait, maybe once a day, and they would run it when they thought the phone was sleeping and it wouldn't inconvenience you, and you wouldn't be wasting your bandwidth when you were roaming. Now it seems to be more aggressive about it, but also they used to have a hard limit on what it would download over the networks, because the networks are always petrified that a billion iPhone users are going to destroy their bandwidth. Now you can go in and choose to tell it to warn you all the time, warn you over 200 megabytes, or just never warn you anymore.
But I'm on Wi-Fi 16 hours of the day. There's no reason why my iPhone shouldn't always be up to date. And it very often wasn't. Very often there'd be 30 or 40 apps that needed to be updated. That's not a day's worth.
It should be now. No, it should be now.
So I haven't had to update manually since I got the new iPhone, and I think they've changed everything. That's actually good. I don't mind if you take away the update tab if I don't have to go there. That's good. Right? It should be automatic.
Well, I also want to be able to manually update. I don't want something coming on that I'm not aware of.
Oh, you want it automatic manual.
I want it manual. Okay. And I go through and I look at kind of what the updates are, and in some cases I think, I don't want that. I'll delete the app before it can update. So I'm kind of picky, and I'm not usual, but I would rather not have auto updates.
Interesting.
Well, you could turn that off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I do have it turned off.
Yeah.
I do have it turned off.
I don't mind that they took my tab away. Although that is a bold move. I mean, that really is, you're right. That's big time free advertising. Some might think that's a little anti-competitive. Apple's saying, look.
It's also that's the way Android does it. Is in order to see your things, you have to go to kind of your account, and then you see your apps and games in the Play Store. So it kind of mimics the way Google does.
To be fair, a long touch of the Play Store icon will pop up a menu that says your apps. You can go right there directly.
Right.
That's what I always do. All right. I know it's been too much Apple. I know. I'm sorry. One more thing.
Oh, you have that on iOS too, Leo. The haptic touch. If you do the App Store, it'll give you purchased, updates, redeem, and search.
Oh, nice. Oh, yes. So it does. So I go right to.
They actually fixed haptic touch this year too.
I have to say, I don't miss 3D touch. It's gone. They've replaced it with haptic touch and a long press. With the one exception of moving icons around, which is still weird.
That is. Well, now instead of having to try to negotiate between did I long press or did I deep press? I deep press. No, I want a long.
Yeah, that was bad.
Because you're like, now there's just a line item. When you hold it down, it says rearrange icons.
Right.
The two things that are still missing are the things that actually required real pressure sensitivity, which is when you could press deeper to switch between moving the cursor and text selection on the trackpad mode. Yeah, that's gone. And also anything that used drawing, like notes, and you could do like press harder to get thicker or darker lines. That's gone.
That's a bit of a loss.
Yeah. Unless they bring pencil over to make up for it.
We all thought they would, but they didn't. Mm-hmm. So what about the watch? Any thoughts on the new Series 5? You wrote the world's best watch.
Yeah, I think they really nailed. I think they were in the beginning. They weren't great at anything, but they sort of gave us a glimpse at what a wrist computer could be. And then slowly but surely, year after year, they knocked out. Like the second year, they made native applications. The third year, they made LTE. The fourth year, they gave it the redesign. The fifth year, it's an all. And slowly but surely, they've been removing impediments. And this one is like, this is the one that stopped it being a watch. It couldn't work as a watch before.
Right, you can tell the time with it all the time.
Yes.
Wow, what a thought! What a feature! It's an actual watch. I'm sorry,
and their implementation is really clever.
Which is?
The implementation is really clever.
Oh,
like
okay.
a lot of previous watches would give you like a 1980s LCD display on top of your watch, and it would switch between modes, or you'd have to manually do it. And this is just all your watch faces are just there, and they just go slightly dimmer.
Nice. I haven't gotten mine yet. I'll get it this Friday, but I can't wait. Louise, what were you going to say? Do you wear an Apple Watch? No. Yes.
I don't know. This is a scrunchie.
A scrunchie. Close enough. You know what? Until recently, that told time as well as an Apple Watch.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's back. But I am kind of tempted for the first time. I am somebody who's a little wary of another computer strapped to my wrist at all times because, I don't want to be glued to my phone any more than I already am. But I think the price point now, and there is I think some great features at this point. So I am kind of tempted to have the Apple Watch. But I feel like the biggest thing is if you're like an athlete, I think that seems to be still the biggest draw. But one thing I'm still kind of hesitant about is the battery life. Apple advertises this as monitor your sleep, monitor your exercise, monitor your stress.
Never take it off.
It's going to die. Yeah. You can't actually monitor your sleep cycle and then go straight to monitoring your exercise and your stress at work or whatever, because you need to charge it. So I think that's still kind of an open question for me is the battery life. And that's your normal watch, you can just leave on all the time and you kind of forget about it. But the idea of having, I love my AirPods, but the idea of having 3 Apple devices that I need to constantly be worrying about the battery life on is just not super appealing, especially if you want to be using it kind of as a health monitor, which I think is something that Apple has pushed so much.
All right, Renee, what's the verdict? Battery life.
So far, I've got about the same battery life. Russell Hawley took him on one of his giant torture tests yesterday, and he got slightly better battery life on the new one after biking, I'm guessing, 500 kilometers or something ridiculous like he usually does. So it's been about the same. And what they did this year was their goal was to give you the always on feature without impacting it. And you're right, mine goes about a day and a half. It depends on how many workouts they do during a day. And they did address the sleep thing. Apple famously bought Bedit, but then hasn't integrated their own sleep tracking yet. I'm guessing that might be next year's big feature and they'll address it. But now it's sort of like, do your sleep tracking, get up, put your watch on the charger, go make coffee, go to a shower, whatever, then pick it up again and go to your yoga or go to work or do something like that, which is a lot of overhead to manage, especially without AirPower to sort of do everything at once for you. But My old watch lasted for 3 years, but if I had a fall on my bicycle, it wouldn't call 911. I couldn't make phone calls on it. It didn't do any, like it didn't remote control the alarms in my house. So I'm willing to make these trade-offs, but I do hope that one day it's like every week instead of every day.
Renee, how long does it take to charge? To go from
that's a good question because I usually put it on overnight, but it is fairly quick. It doesn't use Qi because Qi couldn't deliver. It's a superset of the Qi standard because regular Qi wouldn't charge it fast enough. So they're doing sort of like a fast charge off of a Qi-like charging system. But I'll run some tests for you. It
charges pretty fast, but not fast enough. Yes. If you've been sleeping in it and then you just go to make coffee, it's not going to charge all the way. That was
one of the few rumors that didn't come true is that we would have sleep tracking in the Apple Watch.
Well, and there are already plenty of good sleep tracking apps, like Sleep Cycle, for example. You don't need to wear it on your wrist.
Yeah.
Sleep Plus is good too.
I actually think sleep tracking is a really bad idea. Partly because every morning my wife gets up and says, I got 81%. What was yours?
It keeps me up at night worrying about it, Leo.
Yeah, that's what actually I read a study that said the people who are using sleep trackers sleep more poorly because they're obsessed with how they're sleeping.
Worrying about it.
And I honestly,
it's like quantum mechanics.
When I get a bad
sleep
score, I feel good today, but let me just see if I should. My sleep score today was it's not set up yet. All right, but
new phone, who dis?
New phone, who dis? Exactly. Jeez.
So I find Sleep Cycle works really good if I have like a bunch of notes of activities that happened and in detail. And I actually have been using it for years. And I have a pretty good idea of what keeps me up and what doesn't keep me up. I know I should stay away from tequila.
But come on, you knew that already.
Yeah, I did.
Really? You needed an app to tell you that?
There's an app for that, Leo.
Dwight, you might want to stay away from tequila. So I'm just going to sign in and see if I should be tired today or not. This is a bad idea. Just don't track your sleep. You know how you slept.
Go.
I also find that the compass is bigger deal than I thought it would be.
Look at you got 80%.
Honestly, that's compelling. I want to hear about the compass because I feel like I constantly need to reset my Google Maps orientation, and I hate that.
I see people on the street doing this. I know what's going on.
I liked it a lot because I took it for granted because my phone has had a compass for like a decade, so I didn't even think about it. Then I realized all the just the maps on the watch. You see it, but you don't really know which way it's going. It tries, but I just said I was out doing one of the battery tests and I lost track of my colleague Georgia, and I just said find Georgia, and the Find My algorithm did it saying. Pointed me to her. I started walking. It said, no, you're going the wrong way. So I turned around and I walked the right way, turned the corner, and she was there. I'm like, okay, I love compass. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm into that. That's really seamless. And I feel like, the dumbest thing I do on a regular basis is come out of the subway and hold my phone, look down, walk in a circle, and try and figure out which way is the right direction. And I do like the idea of having a watch that could do that in a much more elegant way, especially with the compass.
People who walk a lot.
And big cities are the worst for that stuff.
I always have that trouble in New York. If you're walking, you just don't know, left or right. I can't tell. It just takes too long to figure that out.
It's okay. Wave will fix that for you, Leo.
Well, and Google Maps has already added this augmented reality feature where you hold it up and it sees the buildings and it has a big arrow that says, well, go that way.
Yeah.
So there are solutions out there. I never thought I needed a compass. There is a compass already on the phone. Is the watch compass better somehow?
It's independent. Well, I mean, it's a novelty now. Like the Starry Skies app, you can hold up your watch and move it across the sky, and it'll tell you what like constellations you're looking at. But I think it's really when it starts to come together. I think this is all built around Apple's U1 chips and all these other things where you're going to be able to find things and find other devices and target other devices. And for example, I lost my wallet when I was in New York, and it was like really stressful, but I had so many gadgets that it was fine. But if I had just had that tag inside it and I could say, where's my wallet? And it would have shown me, and I could just look at my watch and say, no, left, idiot. And I would have gone left. And that sort of thing I think is going to be transformative.
So this is a technology, this U1 chip called Ultrawideband.
Yes.
It's kind of like Bluetooth range, 10 to 30 or 10 to 20 meters. By the way, we were talking today on the radio show with Sam Abul-Samid, he's the car expert. He said you're also going to see these in automobiles.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it's spatially aware positioning radio. which is
Apple
fascinating.
has not enabled it. They have the chip. They mentioned it on stage. Well, it was in a graphic on stage behind Phil Schiller, but they didn't talk about it. Did they brief you on it, Renee, what their intent is?
Yeah, I mean, but the use for now, like I think that they just don't have their new tags ready, and that's why they knew someone was going to find it when they tore it down and say, "What is this?" So they had to have some kind of story for it. And in iOS 13.1, which is coming out on the 24th now, it's going to enable AirDrop. So like if the three of you are standing there and I want to make sure I beam something to Dwight and not Leo, I can point my phone at him and it'll prioritize him and say, "Oh, do you want to beam this to Dwight?" And I just press the button and it'll do it. And that's like the first function they're doing.
Would all three of us have to be using an 11 series, or will it work with older iPhones?
Yeah, no, it identifies other U1 enabled devices.
Is there a U1 chip in the watch?
Actually, that's a good question. I don't think so yet. I think it would probably sort of suck off of the iPhone's connection for now. But it'll be in the iPhone. It'll probably be in the iPads and the next ones, and it'll be in those little tags, which I really wish I had now.
All right, let's take a little break. Louise Matsakis is here from Wired. Always great to have you on, and your scrunchie. I just thought it was a really clunky watch. I didn't know. I thought chunky watch. That's all.
It's a Fitbit.
It's a new wristband, Leo. You didn't see the new bands for this year?
Dwight Silverman, the Tech Burger, from the Tech Burger. You just have to go to HoustonChronicle.com/TechBurger. That's the deal.
Yes, that's it. And I call myself the Grill Master, but nobody else does.
Are you telling me that techburger.com was taken?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's a restaurant.
Oh, well, that's different.
But it's also part of the Chronicle, I've got the newsletter I've started, which is Going Great Guns, has a different name also. It's called Release Notes. And that is it's kind of very different from Tech Burger, but it's also part of kind of the whole machine.
And that's free. We can subscribe to that at HoustonChronicle.com.
HoustonChronicle.com/release notes.
Release notes. Okay, cool. It's great to have Dwight on. And of course, Renee Ritchie. We know him from imore.com and Vector, his podcast on imore.com, but of course, a regular on Mac Break Weekly. He was at the Apple event and is one of the chosen few who got an iPhone early at the event. So actually 3 of them. You got all 3 models. So that's
a lot of work comes with them, though. I mean, it's.
I'm not saying I want it that way. I just I'm impressed that they like you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Our show today brought to you by Kaptara. So many businesses are running software these days. I was just looking at a graph that said, like, 40% of businesses are still running Windows XP, and you know why? Because it's in a closet somewhere. It hasn't been up. You're running Windows XP? Stop it. Because you know why? I bet you this is why. Because you have to. Because that software that your business is built on, your line of business software, won't run unless you have IE5 or Windows XP running. That's crazy. I want you to go to kaptara.com. Kaptara.com is a directory of modern state-of-the-art business software for every possible business. 700 categories. Everything from digital workplace software, video management software, SaaS solutions, CRM solutions, but also direct line of business software like mortuary management or yoga studio management. There is software in there for everybody. And what's great about Kaptara, you pick the category, you pick the software you're looking for, narrow it down, and I love it that these filters are this is recycling software. I love it. The filters are actually tailored to the category. So they'll ask questions that are appropriate for that on premises or in the cloud, management, that kind of thing. And then narrow it down, then put a side-by-side comparison chart together up to 4 different apps. You can see all the features. Scrapdragon Extreme. Now there's a program, man. That's the one I need. 5-star rating. But here's the best part. 1 million reviews on the site. 1,000 new reviews every day. Vetted, verified reviews from actual users. That's what makes Kaptara so special. Before you pick software, you can see what real-world people are experiencing with this software. It's fantastic. 1,025,000 reviews now at kaptara.com. You'll be confident when you choose software there. And I left out the best part. I always like this. It's free. It's free, not freemium. You don't have to buy donuts. It's free. In fact, I think the reason there's 1,000 new reviews there every day is people are so grateful. They go back, they pay it forward. They say, well, at least I can do this. I can leave a review. You should do it too. Millions of people use Kaptara every month to find the right tools. You should too. kapterra.com/twit. Kaptera.com/twit. Kaptera's software selection simplified. We thank Kaptera for supporting our show. And we thank you for supporting our show by going to kaptera.com/twit. Let's see. Was there already a teardown? Oh, yeah, there was. iFix's teardown, and they found a much bigger battery, by the way, which is not surprising. But that's one reason you're getting better battery life is something like a 15% increase in battery, right, of milliamp hours.
With 18% improvement in OLED efficiency and between 15 and 40% across the CPU efficiency. Sorry, across the chipset efficiency.
Kind of amazing. Makes you wonder why I didn't do this sooner. That's just great. I'm thrilled. Anything else we learned from the teardown? I always love what iFixes.
There was some misinformation in there, like in the story spread quickly, where they said they thought they found the hidden reverse inductive charging. Which, as far as I had a bunch of people ping me after that
rumor
going,
that did not happen.
Yeah,
right?
They're like, we don't have we never had that in there. It was never spec for release in there. We don't know what we think they're looking at, but no. Sorry.
So this was something that Samsung put in the Galaxy S10 and the Note 10. It's a dopey feature in my opinion, but since Samsung was selling wireless earbuds, you turn your phone over, turn on the inductive charging, and you can use it as a charger for the headphones. I can't imagine people use that.
They're cheap for their watch as well, so I believe it works for the AirPods and watch, where Apple's not. And I think they wouldn't ship it unless it could do both yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, it's not a feature anybody's going to say, oh, well, I'm definitely not getting the iPhone then.
It's getting better. I tried it in the earlier ones, and it would take so much power from your phone to deliver so little power to anything else that it was just terabad.
Yeah. All right.
I've taken great pleasure charging my iPhone on the Galaxy Note 10 review unit I have. That just seems like great justice.
That's the Silicon Valley. That's the Silicon Valley Air Power, Dwight.
That's right.
What were you going to say, Louise?
I was just saying, we should give iFix it a little slack here, because I don't know if you guys know this, but the way that they do the teardown is that they actually go to Australia. Or wherever it's releasing first. So they fly around the world, and they're often racing other teams to be the first ones to get their hands on the iPhone first.
It's kind of amazing. Yeah.
They're jet lagged when they think they see something they didn't in their defense. But yeah, it's a really crazy race that they do every year, and it's very impressive.
I love them for it. I love them for it.
That should be on Apple TV.
We should mention that. Wouldn't that be good? The great, amazing teardown race?
Teardown.
The amazing teardown race.
I don't think that Apple really likes it that they do that.
Disney TV and Netflix, somebody sign that up.
The amazing teardown race. That would be so cool.
Someone had buy the rights to that.
Jerry Rig.
In the interest of full
Kyle
disclosure,
Wyans.
I should say that Kyle Wiens and iFixit are sponsors of our shows. We love them. Actually, we've given in the past, we've given the iFixit toolkits as gifts. They're such great geek gifts. Pixel 4. As long as we gave iPhone all that time, I guess we should mention Google's event is coming up now, October 15th. They are going to announce more than just the Pixel, though. The invitation says a few new things made by Google with a capital M and a capital G, which means we'll probably see other things. One thing Google is rumored, and again, rumors, as we learned with the iPhone, are not proof, but one of the things Google's rumored to be offering is a 90 hertz display. That's something the OnePlus 7 Pro has. I really like it. It's
the ROG Phone 2 has 120 hertz. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah. But that's a gaming phone, so they want that kind of refresh rate.
I still want it, Leo.
So Apple did not do 90 hertz. That's probably something for next year.
Well, neither did Samsung, and Apple gets their displays from Samsung's fab, the same fab location plant. So
I wonder where Google's getting theirs. That's interesting.
They were using LG, but BOE, which I think just lifted Samsung's entire process and re-implemented it, has been making a lot of inroads too.
Okay. I think any camera review of the iPhone 11 would have to really, to be fair, wait and see what Google does with the Pixel 4, because you're comparing it with nearly a year-old phone. We'll see what Google's Pixel 4 can accomplish.
And and a single lens, not to insult it, but it's not like a Huawei lens either.
No, they're going to have 2 lenses in the new one. We don't know what sensors, but we'll find out.
But we know there won't be a new Pixel Slate. That's sad.
Yeah, although rumors of a Pixelbook 2, they resubmitted to the FCC, so there will be a new Chromebook from Google, a Pixelbook 2. The Slate was a bad idea. That was their tablet version, and it
should have been ARM.
Yeah.
You think they'll always do the high end, or are they going to do something less expensive?
I think they might as well. They're doing reference designs. The idea of an inexpensive developer phone. That's what the Nexus line was. I think that's right. Although, if you bought a Pixel 3 now or a 3A now, they've really cut the prices an awful lot.
Right. Yeah. Right. But I think
the rumor that Microsoft is going to go cheap.
Microsoft might go cheap. We're going to see because Microsoft's event is October 2nd.
It's actually an exciting time of the year.
Yeah. New Surfaces. The really thing that I'll be interested in is a dual screen Surface, which we've been seeing some rumors for some time, going way back.
Microsoft Fold.
Yeah.
Well, this is the Centaurus, right?
That's the code name.
Yep.
And apparently they've shown it internally. We've heard of them showing it around internally. Unknown whether they'll announce it on October 2nd, but they will.
Windows Core.
And I'm almost certain they will talk a little bit about ARM for Windows, ARM for Surface. That will be interesting.
Yeah, it feels like we're at a crossroads where a lot of things, like we had the Wintel assumption for a very long time, and that's slowly changing. And a laptop was a keyboard and a screen for a long time, and that might be changing. And phones and tablets were discrete devices, and that's starting to change. And I like it when it's fresh and new, like when the iPhone came out and the Palm Pre came out, and there was BlackBerry 10 and Windows Phone. There was just so many fresh and new ideas all the time. They were sort of coagulated around iOS and Android, and it feels like we're getting another moment in time where people are experimenting again. And who knows who's going to be successful? There'll be a lot of terrible products strewn across the floors of analyst reports, but we might also get some really unexpected surprises along the way.
I really hope so. I think what this iPhone cycle really showed is that I think consumers are not excited right now, and I think that there's a lot of opportunity to capture the market right now, because a lot of people are like, they're holding on to their phones, they're holding on to their tablets, they're holding on to their computers, and it will be interesting to see if someone can kind of push through the noise and change that.
This is the one thing the PC market really has an advantage. There's so many manufacturers, and they're all competing tooth and nail. That the heterogeneity of the market was amazing. There's just people. I mean, I'm surprised there isn't a triangular PC out there somewhere.
It's on The Office. They have the trademark, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, they're just all kinds. There is a Qualcomm chip that these new ARM Windows machines will be running on that is intended for desktop processing. It won't be an 855 or anything we've seen before, but it still remains to be seen. One thing you'll get with an ARM processor in Windows is a lot of battery life, like all day. Yeah. But whether the performance will be up to snuff is another matter. The 8CX, I think, is that it? Or
wasn't there an AMD rumor for Microsoft as well?
There was a rumor that the Surface laptop would be an AMD version of it. That's the one. If you don't remember, it's a very nondescript kind of Ultrabook, but here's how you'll remember it. It had Alcantara on the keyboard. So the wrist rest.
So many Reddit Cheetos pictures. It was a terrible meme time.
It was so soft. So soft. I hope there will be an option, an Alcantara free option, because no Alcantaras need to die for my laptop. That's for sure. I'm
save them for the Teslas.
Yeah. Anybody here use Windows? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah,
I do not
use it at work.
You have to. They make you.
I have to. Yeah. Although I also have. I run, and I wrote a book about this. I run Windows frequently on my Mac when I want to go back and forth between things. And Windows 10 is pretty good. It's a lot more complicated and a lot more moving parts than Mac OS, but it has. I don't think it long ago quit being Windows with a Z.
Yeah.
We will probably see a stripped down version of Windows also on October 2nd.
That's part of the Centaurus.
Core OS, right?
Yeah.
Windows Core.
So the idea is make the operating system modular, which Linux is already, but make the operating system modular and now have a very stripped down, simple version that'll run on slower processors. That's interesting.
My friends and I only use it for VR, so that part I'm less interested in. I just want them to make more hulking, crazy gaming rig OS.
Don't worry, there'll be plenty of those. You're safe in that regard. There's definitely a market for that.
Well, one of the original ideas behind Longhorn, which ultimately became Windows Vista, right, was a modular operating system like that. And of course, the idea was ahead of its time, and we saw what happened with Vista. But they might finally be able to realize it with this.
Somebody in the chat room was reminding me, which I had conveniently forgotten, that I had a HP, ARM-based HP laptop. It was just awful. I still have it.
They've done that before, yeah.
Oh, it was so slow. Oh, my God.
Was it worse than the HP Slate that had a button you could press to pop out the Intel Inside sticker?
What?
Remember that? They were so desperate to get that out. What's his name? Ballmer was on stage at CES before the iPad, and they had this HP Slate, and you would press a button, and this little plastic flange would pop out that had the Intel Inside sticker on it.
And why they did that?
Because they had to have it, but they didn't want to show it. One of my colleagues, Derek Kessler, wrote a blistering 15,000 word review on that device.
It's part of the Intel deal. You get the co-marketing dollars if you have that sticker on there. Right. First thing I do on any Windows laptop is peel that sucker off. Jeez Louise. I'm sorry.
Wow, never heard that one before.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to besmirch you in any way.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Maybe you need calm.com. This is our sponsor for this segment of This Week in Tech. Calm is a wonderful resource for anybody. We were just talking about sleep. I'm 63. I finally got my sleep score 63%. That's not good. In fact, 1 in 3 U.S. adults don't get enough sleep. I'm 1 in 3. If you're not sleeping enough, it can affect your cognitive functions during the day, like learning, problem solving, decision making. Calm is more than just meditation. It's a great sleep app too. It helps you with getting to sleep and sleeping better. With Calm, you'll discover a whole library of programs designed to help you sleep, to get the sleep your brain and body needs. Soundscapes, wonderful. I should play a few little soundscapes here. So you can mask street noise and sirens and all sorts of things. There's wonderful sleep stories narrated by soothing voices like Stephen Fry. I love Stephen Fry's voice. Oh, I just love him. But also other famous people like Jerome Flynn. He does a great story about New Zealand, actually. I learned a lot about New Zealand until I fell asleep. That's one of the beauties of these. They're wonderful stories for falling asleep that you don't really mind missing.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Stephen Fry.
Hello, Stephen.
And tonight, I'll be reading you a few lullabies.
Reading, not singing.
Soothingly soporific poems.
Don't you love this? Wouldn't you love having Stephen Fry
to help little children
put you to bed?
Fall asleep.
They have a lot of children's stories too. It's really, I just love this idea. There's music for meditation, for focus. If you're a writer, I like having ambient music in the background as I work. I don't want to hear lyrics. I just want beautiful sounds behind me. They've actually, Moby released his new album exclusively on calm.com. There's master classes in sleep, but also conscious parenting, gratitude, peak performance, health, eating. Do you see all this stuff? There's so much. I have a Calm Premium subscription. Here's stretching classes, warm up, cool down, back care, and of course, the lovely scenes. Shall we visit the coastline at sunset? It's about sunset right now, somewhere in the world. It's very beautiful. Now let's bring back Stephen Fry. Now let's go back to the sunset.
Their magic is not just for the young, though.
A summer meadow.
anyone can be mesmerized.
See, you can mix them. All right, I want you to sleep better. I want you to relax. I want you to meditate. I want your life to be better, and calm is the best way to do it. Of course, there's the Daily Calm with Tamara Levitt. I just think they do a great job. And right now, we're going to give you 25% off a Calm premium subscription. Don't you feel calmer already? I do. At calm.com/twit. CALM.com/twit. 50 million people have downloaded Calm. I'm one of them. I've been a Calm premium subscriber for years. In fact, I know I have been for years because it's just renewed. Calm.com/twit. Get 25% off right now. So, according to the Financial Times, a team of researchers from Google have demonstrated quantum supremacy. What the hell does that mean? The point at which a quantum computer is shown to be capable of performing a task that is beyond the reach of even the most powerful conventional supercomputer, or as René Ritchie calls it, a superordinateur.
Un ordinateur, oui.
Oh, I love that word. Why does the French call a computer an ordinateur? No one knows.
I've written about quantum computing here, and there are a lot of companies, oil companies in Houston and certainly in West Texas, who are interested in it for seismic and geological studies. And one of the things that they're all racing towards is this quantum supremacy, where you can prove that a quantum computer can actually do something faster than a good supercomputer.
That's what they did.
Right. Well, what happened is they posted apparently a white paper about with Google doing this was posted briefly and then was pulled down.
Yes, and Google it was posted on a NASA website before it was taken down, and Google will not respond to a request for comment.
Right.
But that to me confirms that they did it.
Well,
right? If they didn't do it, they'd say no, we didn't do it.
How do you build the Star Trek computer without the computer, Leo?
So this is what the paper claimed. They were able to do a calculation in 3 minutes and 20 seconds that would take today's fastest supercomputer, the Summit, 10,000 years. I think Google did it because they don't want anybody to know now. They go, whoops, because that's terrifying.
I don't want my ads served off a quantum computer.
It's going to break crypto, right?
Mm-hmm. There's still a lot of questions because these quantum computers are really delicate. We still haven't, they're not stabilized because the technology is so sensitive to any small changes in the environment. There are a lot of questions still about what they actually accomplished here. And I saw a lot of researchers on Twitter being like, it's not really clear exactly if quantum supremacy has really been reached here. I think, everyone who's holding cryptocurrency can relax for a minute.
Would it affect that? Oh, yeah, because suddenly if you have one of these, you could generate Bitcoin at a rapid clip.
Or pay for itself. Encryption to get to it.
Or break encryption and get
encryption, right.
Actually, be probably better to steal Satoshi's Bitcoin than to make your own.
That's right. And there are a lot of companies that are racing towards this. IBM is in this game. A lot of the Chinese are doing this, and there's a lot of private companies in the U.S. As well as Google. So somebody's going to get there first, and it may well have been Google.
Maybe the computer is Satoshi, and it gets smart enough to go back in time and invent the crypto coin that it steals.
That would be cool. All I want it to do is figure out what the password is for my Bitcoin wallet. Can it do that?
I just wanted to get my email password back.
Yeah.
We lost $100,000. Wired lost $100,000 because we lost the keys.
Oh, good. I don't feel so bad. I only lost, well, it depends what the value of Bitcoin. When it was at $20,000, I lost $140,000.
Oh my God, Leo,
that's
worse than
Bitcoin.
getting your Galaxy Note 9 pen stuff.
I have 7 Bitcoin. I have the wallet. If anybody wants,
I have the wallet address, but that's not what we need.
No.
That's honestly, I wish we didn't have the wallet address because then we wouldn't be able to see what we're.
I bet you Wired did the same thing I did, which was create this wallet, but not pay any attention because at the time, what's it worth? A nickel. It's not. And then
what we did actually is we had mined some Bitcoin as an experiment when those like consumer miner
you could do it
out. Yeah, so that we tested one and then we said, it's not really ethical to be holding this, so we're just going to get rid of the key purposely. But at that point, it was
threw away the key.
But at that point, it was worth like, $12 or so. It wasn't a big deal. And then it wasn't very clear what was going to happen because it was an ethical violation.
Wait a minute. So if it's $12, it's you can have ethics. But if it's $100,000, maybe my ethics are not quite.
No, but they could have had a really good holiday party.
Yeah.
We could have donated it. There could have been ways to kind of deal with that. We could have just paid the salary of a cryptocurrency reporter. There are a lot of things we could have done. But yeah, no, that is unfortunately what happened.
I have no ethical qualms. If I can find the password, I'm unlocking that son of a bitch.
Twit holiday party.
So Steve Gibson, our security guy, I've told this before. Forgive me if you've heard it before. Same thing. When this all first started, he said, well, let me set up a miner. And you could, at the time, you could mine it with just a plain old PC. Next morning, he wakes up, he's got 50 Bitcoin. Just ching.
That's a lot of money.
So he just kept it lying around. At its peak, that's worth more than $1 million, right? He erased the disk by accident.
Oh, no.
Because I kept asking him, well, come on, guy, find it. He said, well, it's in that computer. It's in the corner. And then he finally admitted to me, no, I erased the hard drive a long time ago. Oh, dude. So
test some new assembler code for the website, and he needed the space.
I wonder how much Bitcoin is is on the blockchain.
Oh, a lot.
Inaccessible.
Oh, a ton.
Yeah. There have been estimates actually, and it's like a fair amount. A lot actually, if you consider Satoshi's money too. If you want to consider that lost, then it's like actually a pretty significant amount. Yeah. And the problem with cryptocurrencies, unlike regular dollars, is that regular dollars get lost all the time, and we just print more. And that's kind of a problem with the currency. Actually, is that I think it's like a fair portion, even if you don't consider Satoshi.
Here's a graphic from Fortune magazine from a couple of years ago. Total coins lost, probably as many as 4 million Bitcoins are lost. A huge number out of circulation. So it's really a small fraction of Bitcoins that are actually in circulation. So getting back to this quantum supremacy, because this could be a big deal. The MIT Technology Review's talking about it. They had, it's ironic, the week before a conference in Cambridge, they were discussing quantum computing, and Will Oliver, who's an MIT professor and specialist in quantum, said that supremacy, this milestone, would be kind of like the first flight of the Wright brothers at Kitty Hawk. It would be that important for a quantum machine to actually solve a problem and to be able to demonstrate effectively that problem was solved at many orders of magnitude faster than the best computer out there. And I think that counts. If it would take 10,000 years for Summit to do it in 3 minutes and 20 seconds for a quantum processor, that's a big difference.
Huge difference, yeah. It's definitely a big turning point, but there's still just so many questions about this. That
we don't even know what problem is solved, right?
Exactly, yeah. And probably
we'll make new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah. This is like cold fusion. It's one of those things that's always been just on the horizon.
Yes. Always coming, never arriving.
Yeah. Any day now. There's a lot of stuff in technology like that. But that could be, that could be a big story. You heard it here. You could think back in the years to come. I remember that show, Twit. Whatever happened to that? Oh, yeah, that's where I heard the first time a quantum computer. I remember
and then they turned it on, and it unraveled the simulation that we were all being run in, and then we had to start over.
That's right.
I can't wait till that happens. All the bits derez. I knew it.
That was the whole point. They were running the simulator until we got to the quantum computer, and we just screwed ourselves.
Elon was right all this time.
Elon wants to evacuate a planet he doesn't believe exists, Leo.
I think in a way, don't you think that kind of empowers Elon Musk that he thinks we're in a simulation because, well, screw it. I'll just try. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to try this.
I'll just drill a tunnel. It's fine. It's a simulated tunnel.
Screw it. Let's see what happens.
That's certainly been his attitude.
Yes, you can tell. You see the screw it in his eyes. It's like
he's the guy on Fortnite who just wants to kill you.
Yeah,
doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Do we have a promo for the week? You know what we might have? Do we have the episode 0 for
We don't.
We don't have that yet.
No. Shut. Zip.
We did not achieve quantum supremacy, no matter what you saw.
We will achieve quantum supremacy. Week. But this week we did some cool things.
Let's take a look.
Previously on Twit. Hands-on tech.
I have a box cutter.
And I have a titanium blade.
iPhone 11 unboxing.
And
Next.
Apple Watch Series 5.
This week in Enterprise Tech.
Do you work from WeWork or know someone who does? WeWork's weak Wi-Fi security has been leaving sensitive data accessible on its open network for years.
Security Now.
Simjacker.com.
Watch carefully. Ah!
It's a new SIM card flaw. This is discovered being actively exploited in the wild, which allows attackers to hijack any, capital, all bold, any phone just by sending it an SMS message, which is like, what?
Mac Break Weekly.
So you got an iPhone at the event, I guess.
Yeah, got a couple.
Oh my God, a couple?
Twit. Technology isn't always pretty, but we are.
It's Slofi time. Can you blow on me? I need more hair to really do a good Slofi. Apple apparently is trying to trademark Slofi. Did you see that?
Yeah, they are.
Facebook trying to trademark the word book in Europe. Oh my.
Das Buch.
Das Buch.
Le Book.
Our show today, I just read an article that said, asked the rhetorical question, should you be using a VPN? And the answer was yes. Yes, you should be using a VPN. A VPN, a virtual private network, protects you when you're on open Wi-Fi hotspot. When you don't trust the source of your internet, could be your internet service provider, could be that free airport wireless that I always see. If you don't trust it, you shouldn't be using it without a virtual private network. A VPN encrypts your data from your computer to the VPN server somewhere out there, well away from any attack surface inside you, next to you, or around you. My favorite VPN, a lot of people ask me, what do you use? I use ExpressVPN. And I'll tell you why. Few reasons. First of all, it's easy. This one button runs on every platform I use. You just put the app on your phone or on your desktop, turn it on, and you're encrypted. It's running in the background. Everything you do is now encrypted going out on the net, and it's easy to turn off again when you want to do that. It's really fast. They have lots of servers all over the world. That's good, too, because it means you can emerge into the public internet in any country you want, practically, anywhere around the world. But the other thing I really like about ExpressVPN is their privacy policy, and this is really the most important point to be made with any VPN. You're just kicking the can down the road. Yeah, okay, that guy in the hoodie in the corner of the coffee shop can't hack you. But as soon as you get to that VPN server, they can spy on you. So you want a VPN that you can trust. ExpressVPN you can trust. They've been audited, third-party audit. Read their privacy policy. The audit said, yep, they do exactly that. They even have added a new cutting-edge server technology called Trusted Server. They're actually running their VPN server in a sandbox, so it cannot write to the hard drive at all. Not only do they not log, they couldn't log if they wanted to. It's a whole new standard of privacy and security. No trace of your visit is saved at any time. Third-party audit said, yep, that's exactly what Trusted Server does, and it works. Now, you may say, well, I've got a free VPN. I can tell you right now, nobody runs a VPN server for free. If they're not charging you, they're making money on you. ExpressVPN does charge you, I think, a very fair, great price for a really great service and a 30-day money-back guarantee. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to expressvpn.com/twit right now. expressvpn.com/twit. Don't ask me how you spell VPN. I know you know. expressvpn.com/twit. You'll get 3 extra months free with a 1-year package. It's the best. Thank you, ExpressVPN, for your support of our show. I love this headline in Gizmodo. The most powerful person in the world meets Donald Trump. There it is, the picture. This will be the Elvis and Nixon picture from years ahead. There's Donald Trump with Mark Zuckerberg.
I just would love to be a fly on the wall there.
Man.
See how that conversation went. Like,
talk about trains on different tracks, right? I mean, I don't think either one understood what the other was saying. I'm sure they didn't. It was just like,
Even more than like being in the room for the actual meeting, I would have loved to have been in the meeting with Trump people, where they, Zuckerberg's, team, where they went over what he should and shouldn't say. Like, what do you
now, do not look him in the eyes, or you may never get out of that room. Yeah. Shake his hands, but make sure it's not for more than 5 seconds, because he'll hold you. He'll grip you.
Pick the Big Mac, not the chicken burger.
Please, yes. The funny thing is, Zuck didn't mention it. He didn't post it on Facebook. It was a secret. The only reason we know this happened is, of course, the president tweeted it and Facebooked it and Instagrammed it. No details on what he was talking about. Although I'm guessing Trump probably said, "Can you get me any information on this Biden guy? What do you know? What do you know?"
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it, Dorsey met with Trump during the summer. I think it's just don't regulate me. Don't regulate me. I think that's what
all of Silicon Valley has come one by one to talk to Donald Trump, including, not only the social media guys, but the Google guys. Right. Everybody has to come. Satya Nadella, I'm sure, has talked to Trump because you need him. You need him to play nice. And he's not real happy about social media right now. He thinks social media has an anti-conservative bias.
Right. I think the card to play, honestly, is if you regulate us, then you're going to be strengthening China. I think that is the card to play with Trump, and I bet that's the card that Zuckerberg played. That's what they've been doing on Capitol Hill.
How did that work for Tim Cook when he went to President Trump and said, "Look, these tariffs are going to help Samsung, a South Korean
until
company."
The next person spoke to him, and 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, what is, by the way, are the tariffs on or off?
They're not on the iPhone.
They got an exemption, didn't they?
Right. But not
for
on,
certain things. The iPhone got pushed back. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for the time being. But it's and that's the problem, exactly like you said, is the uncertainty, I think, is what is the issue for all of these manufacturers, is that they just don't know whether the tariffs are going to impact them or not. But yeah, no, that picture of Zuckerberg and Trump is going to haunt my dreams.
Here's another one. He's so just so you know who this is. This looks like the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It's a beautiful, beautiful picture. That's Dan Scavino, who is the White House, this is social media director. This is, according to Gizmodo, an unknown man. Come on, Gizmodo, you got to up your Google foo. That, I believe, is the presidential son-in-law, Jared Kushner. There's Mark.
Yep.
And Joel Kaplan, who I think is chief counsel at Facebook. And then
what's interesting about this meeting is that for as much as the administration and Congress and the Senate is mad at big tech right now, and they're circling them like hawks to regulate, Trump and Dan Scavino spend a ton of money on Facebook ads.
Yes, absolutely, millions.
Yeah, so it's interesting to have Scavino there, because he's probably like, what kind of strategy should we be doing with our ads to win the next election?
I think it's hysterical that Jared is there. And I think he's pulled in because the president said, who's young? Who's young? Who can we get in here who's young? Anybody under 30 around?
Right, who's on Facebook?
Who's on Facebook? Any of you use the Facebook? Mark does not look happy, but everybody who gets pictures taken with the president. Tim Cook looked also a little grim.
Yes. It's also very white in that room.
Right. And male.
And you're not talking the paint color.
White and male.
Yeah.
It's not surprising.
Yeah.
Fresh idea would cause their heads to explode.
Well, I think it's kind of part of the deal. You got to make nice. Facebook is doing what it can, I think. And I think, look, I'm not a fan of Facebook. I quit them a year ago. I don't miss them. I understand that many people, it's the only way they stay in touch with family and friends, so they don't feel like they have the choice. I understand that. But, boy, I don't miss it one bit.
Yeah.
But I think they also understand that there's going to be a lot of scrutiny. They don't want to get broken up. They don't want to be told, as one Congress member told them, to sell Instagram or WhatsApp.
Right.
So they're doing what they can to at least appear to be trying to get some control over Facebook before the next election. They have created an oversight board.
Right.
This is an interesting independent board, although there will be some Facebook people on it, but a great many not. And the idea of the board is Facebook will present to them when there's an issue, and the board's decision will be final. They will.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea, honestly, to have some outside people to be helping in kind of these tricky content moderation situations. But I think with this oversight board, it is interesting, but I just don't know how often it will really come into play. Think about how many cases does the Supreme Court take? Really not that many, compared to how many important cases there are across the country every year, right? So I just don't know how often this will really come into play. And how often is it really ambiguous? I guess it will be interesting, in the Alex Joneses of the world, when someone like that appeals and it goes to the oversight board, it'll be interesting to see how often people appeal and how often there really is disagreement.
It kind of is like the Supreme Court, isn't it?
It's exactly.
But I have a feeling there will be a lot of them going because everybody believes in their own sanctity, and everybody believes that they deserve, to be left alone and say what they want to say on Facebook. I haven't seen exactly how it proceeds up through the ranks and at what point it can stop and not be allowed to continue. But if everybody keeps pushing it, this could have a hard time scaling.
Here's the flow chart from the Facebook post. There's two ways a case can get to the board. One, Facebook identifies a case for referral, like the Alex Jones case, where they would just love to pass the buck and say, you decide. The other, though, is users can submit requests for board review. In both cases, Facebook will assess those referrals against, I'm just reading here, so don't blame the messenger, prioritization guidelines and submit for board review. I don't know what I don't know what that even means. And then the board will have a case selection committee, which will have 5 members. They'll rotate. That committee will then select the cases and assign them to panels because the actual review is 40 people. It's pretty big. So
yeah, it's a lot of people.
They can divide it up into groups. They'll submit it to a panel.
So ultimately, Facebook is deciding who gets to talk to this
That's
panel.
right. Facebook is the gatekeeper on what gets to the panel.
Well, then what's the point?
Well, you realize that even if there's 40 people, this does not scale well.
No.
It's going to be of the avalanche of requests, only a trickle will get through.
Oh, they're just going to use the Facebook coin board. They're not using them for anything else right now.
Right. Darts. They're playing darts.
Yeah. So Facebook will select a small group of initial members who will then help with the selection of additional members. There'll be a transparency report. I think Facebook is going to be at pains to make sure this looks like it's a fair process, an equitable process, because they're assailed on both sides. They're assailed by conservatives who say you shut down conservative voices, and they're assailed by members of Congress who say you're too big. Often from the left, you're too big. So they're getting it from both directions. So they're going to be at great pains to make it look as if it's a kind of a fair process. Whether
just get Will Wheaton, and if he says that you're being a jerk, you're being a jerk, and they shut you down.
Just that's all you need. I would trust Will. Let Will do it.
Yeah, don't violate Wheaton's law, and you're fine. Otherwise, you're off.
That's a great idea. I think we can all agree Will Wheaton should be in charge.
Except for Patrick Stewart, but yes.
I heard that kid.
Shut up, Will.
Ensign Crusher makes me nuts. All right. Well, anyway, the board has been announced. These are the final rules. The board has not been announced. These are the rules for the board that we'll hear later.
I'm curious about who some of the members will be. That's not a lot of people.
Oprah. Yeah. It's going to be somebody like that, right? It's going to be community organizers. It's got to be somebody. It's going to be somebody from the left, somebody from the right. It'll be
interesting to see who it ends up with.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Facebook's decided to double down on the camera in your house. They are releasing a new range of portals, smart displays, and video chat peripherals, including the Portal TV, a camera bar you put on top of your TV set. Because after all, doesn't your TV deserve to know what you're up to?
Yeah, they're watching you Netflix and chill.
There was a great moment. Do you watch the TV show Succession? I love this show. I keep talking about it. I'm sorry. HBO show about a media mogul, kind of a Rupert Murdoch type, and his 5 horrifically horrible children, each of whom are vying to take over the company, each of whom is worse than the next one. One of the son-in-laws is in charge of their news network, which is a kind of a Fox News-like. But he's just, he's speaking at a conference like an Allen & Co. conference up in the ski chalet. And they've done a lot of focus group testing for this news network, and they've decided that their slogan should be ATN, we hear you. And then Cousin Greg comes running up right before the thing. He says, we can't say that. Why can't we say that? Well, it turns out we actually do hear them. We've got a microphone in the device. Well, can we say we're listening? No, it's the same thing. We are listening. So they end up coming up with a slogan, we hear for you, which makes no sense at all. But that came out. That show was right before Facebook announced this. Facebook, we hear you is the new slogan, clearly. I don't know. I bought the portal, but immediately realized what a horrific mistake I had and gave it.
I say this as somebody who knows people on these teams, and I'm proud of the work that they do in terms of just engineering products. But I think at this point you got to be out of your mind to put one of those things in your house.
Yeah, but this is the
scandal after
disconnect.
scandal.
And by the way, I too know people on this team and across Silicon Valley, and we're often very critical of what these big companies are doing. The individuals are, nice people.
They just want to make a great product.
Engineers. Yeah. They're like, oh, this is a great problem. We're going to put 4 microphones in it. We're going to have touch displays. We're going to have a camera that can follow you around. It's incredible.
We'll scan you if you're nude so that we'll know never to broadcast you when you're nude. That'll solve the problem.
Yeah, isn't that
and then
awesome?
They implement that.
We'll send those pictures back for analysis just to make sure we're not making any mistakes. Engineers.
And we'll have humans check them all, and it'll be fine because they'll know if it's a mistake, and it's just your turtle.
Engineers,
I mean, we don't want to mistake your turtle.
Engineers, that's how they think. I know, it's fine. But they...
On a more practical level, I also just don't know if, is it really that bad to be FaceTiming? I just don't know if I want, a thing sitting on my countertop.
Right.
It's all these companies are vying for, who is going to want their Alexa next to their portal, next to their Google Home? It's just
I got them all, baby. I just got the Next Hub Max, which, by the way, I don't know why I'm giving Facebook a hard time, because this thing does exactly the same thing. It's a really nice picture frame. It's a camera. And then when I get in front of it, it goes, boom, hi, Leo. It knows I'm there. It says, here's your schedule for today. Here's some stories you might be interested in.
And the quantum version will know when you will be there.
And I don't know, maybe it's because I have this inherent trust of Google. I don't know. I like the pictures.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, how much, your trust of the company factors into whether you like the device. And that's something that maybe, these engineers can't really account for. That's a public relations job.
The thing that makes me maddest about the whole Facebook portal thing is that they co-opted the Muppets to promote it. That's sacrilege. Jim Henson would never have allowed. Oh, actually, he did
money talks.
He did a lot of ads for corporate stuff when he was first starting out.
Yeah, I just don't see. You have to think this is the ultimate in tone-deaf marketing, because looking at what Facebook has been through, and then they had another one of these, things this week where they had to delete, all these accounts. All these apps that were leaking data.
Yeah.
It happens again and again and again and again.
Yeah, they said because of Cambridge Analytica was deleting these apps. That was 3 freaking years ago, dude.
That's right. Why are they still there?
What?
So the thing is, here you are, you're putting out a product that watches you while you watch television, and you're saying, trust us. This is a great product. This will make your life better. No, it's not something I can trust.
2 studies just released. Researchers at Princeton and the University of Chicago looked at the Roku and Amazon set-top boxes And guess what? We here for you. 69 Roku channels, 69% of Roku channels, 89% of Amazon Fire TV channels are actually monitoring. They've got microphones on them, monitoring what you're watching. A second study, researchers at Northeastern and the Imperial College of London examined an even broader range of cloud-connected consumer devices. The TVs were the worst for how many, quote, unique third-party destinations, quote, they contact. Facebook, Amazon, DoubleClick among the top recipients of consumer data from these devices. They're sending data about what you're watching, what you're doing back to these places. Akamai and Microsoft both get a lot of hits, but that's because they're the cloud source for all of this stuff. Nearly all this is the punchline. Nearly all TV devices in our test beds contact Netflix, even though we never configured any of them with a Netflix account. You don't have to have a Netflix account. They're just the Netflix software being on the device.
Interesting. So they're probably, trying to figure out what you're doing on the other streaming.
Yeah. What are you watching? What do I have to beat?
So they're spying on the people who are spying on you is basically what's happening.
And their recommendations are still terrible. Go figure.
Yeah, you'd think they'd be better at that. So if you have one of these devices, honestly, I think the end result of a lot of these articles and the stories we're telling about this stuff are just people just give up. They go, what am I going to do?
Yeah, it's a lot of fatigue, privacy fatigue.
There is no way that you can take that Roku and keep it from doing that. I guess if you were sophisticated enough, you could be running a firewall that would block outbound traffic. That's probably the way to do it.
That was also part of Apple's recent pitch. They put on every one of those subscription services, we don't track you, we don't share information, we don't give it to everybody.
Right.
So you can market against it too.
Hey, Karsten, what are you doing here? Did you storm Area 51 yesterday?
No, my boss wouldn't pay for the RV.
You had to take down some of the iconic signs on the road leading there. There's a bunch of kind of fun signs that they had to take down because they were afraid people would steal them.
Yeah. Apparently not that many people showed up, just a lot of weirdos in a costume, right?
Yeah, it was a meme. I think that the people in the area kind of took it a little too literally.
I think most people knew that you weren't really supposed to go there.
Right.
There was some fear that there would be a massive invasion. Like thousands of people would go, but I think that
kind of like the Air Force's odds.
Right.
In one of the towns, they declared a state of emergency.
Did they really?
In one of nearby little villages.
The CNET story. At one point, a man in a mask stepped toward the barricaded gate marked with a stop sign and assumed the pose of a Naruto runner. That's from anime. An armed guard looked on as the crowd shouted, "Don't do it," and then, no, he didn't do it. He just turned around.
The sign says extraterrestrial highway, and that's what the sign reads. And now that they had to take that down, they were worried people would steal them.
Yeah. All right. So it didn't play out. With the storming now complete, right, CNET, thousands more people are expected to attend a pair of alien-themed music festivals in the tiny desert towns of Rachel and Hiko near Area 51. So I guess that's going on right now. The Hiko site includes a mock Area 51 gate for visitors to safely storm for all your selfie-taking needs.
In slow-mo.
Oh my God.
Here's pictures. There are people dressed as aliens. People with tinfoil, selling tinfoil for which you can make hats. People with alien dealy bobbers. Coneheads. Yeah. So, it didn't really look like
alien stock.
No, and this is locals put up signs that said, "Go home, no alien stock."
Mini bomb.
Bracing for a crowd of unknown size. Unknown was like 12, it looked like. They weren't. Here's a guy grilling chicken. There's really nothing.
Was it alien chicken?
It was not actually Woodstock.
Mita grab alphabets.
This guy came from Texas. I had the weekend free, so I figured, why the heck not? This is not even Burning Man. This is like nothing.
Truly nothing. Yeah,
this is nothing. All right.
We're the aliens, Leo. We are the aliens.
We may be. We may be. All right, one more quick mention, and then we will wrap it up. What a great panel. I'm so glad to have you. From the Houston Chronicle Tech Burger, our good friend, old friend, Dwight Silverman, who's been a regular on our shows for many, many moons. From Wired.com, it's always wonderful to have Louise Matsakis on. Thank you for joining us, Louise. The sun has gone down in Brooklyn.
It has, yeah. It's now dark in here. I had to actually have my partner come turn on the lights. I'm not going to
lie. That's okay. We like it doing it in the dark. It's always fun. Actually, Dwight seems to be like in a kind of a
we're in like a studio. What's going on there?
Studio. I love that. It's so
this is our podcasting studio, and
I love it.
This is the same place. I used to have a green screen behind me, Leo, and now they've got, as you can see, they've got soundproofing and so forth. So no more green screen, but same place.
I kind of like this better, really. And Renee Ritchie in his home in beautiful Montreal, where he's probably right after this show going to make another Vector podcast because the guy just can't stop. Our show today brought to you. I put Mint Mobile. Man, I just can't believe how good this is. Mint Mobile is an MVNO, mobile virtual network operator for T-Mobile. So if you have T-Mobile service in your area, everybody does, you are paying too much if you're not using Mint Mobile. Network coverage is so good these days. No matter who your wireless provider is, you're going to get great service. Why pay more for the same service when you can get Mint Mobile? Let me tell you what I pay. And here's the deal. They're online only. They don't have stores. And I pay a year ahead of time. So for unlimited text, unlimited phone service on the T-Mobile network, 12 gigabytes of data a month, which is more than I ever need, I pay $25 a month. I paid $300 for the year. That's it. $25 a month. You can get even less if you don't use much data, as little as $15 a month for the same high-end coverage. Go to the Mint Mobile site, mintmobile.com/twit, and do the calculator. See how much you save. It is truly remarkable. Your old wireless bill is paying for expensive retail stores for overhead. Mintmobile.com/twit. You got to check it out. Cut your wireless bill down. You get unlimited nationwide talk and text, crazy fast 4G LTE. Bring your phone. Keep your phone number. That's fine. You can port your phone number. All your contacts go with you. And if you're not 100% satisfied, they've got you covered. A 7-day money-back guarantee. They have iPhones. They have Galaxy phones. Just go to the Mint Mobile website. Check to make sure your phone will work with Mint Mobile. If it works with T-Mobile, it will. Mintmobile.com/twit. In fact, right now, $15 a month with their 3-month introductory plan. And get the plan shipped to your door for free. Go to mintmobile.com/twit. I love the Fox. Honestly, I spend so much on cell phone service because I have all the carriers. I'm just going to move them all to Mint Mobile. Mintmobile.com/twit. I knew you guys would want to know about this, so I was very happy to say yes. We want to tell the world about Mint Mobile. This is a sad story in so many ways, but I should mention that Richard Stallman, RMS, who is the leader of the free software movement, he wrote Emacs. He was one of the hackers Stephen Levy wrote about in the Hackers book, had some odd beliefs about pedophilia, and is now basically gone from MIT, where he's a visiting professor at the Computer Science and AI Lab, and he's resigned his position at the Free Software Foundation. There's a lot of people saying it's about time. I'm sure that's the case. He's certainly minimized the harms from sexual assault and sex with children. He was so strange that I didn't really know about it, but it didn't surprise me.
Yeah, a lot of people were coming out. A lot of people that I know were coming out and saying, part of the reason that I not myself, but a lot of people I knew were saying that part of the reason that they didn't participate in the free sophomore movement, or they didn't feel as included,
was him.
Because of his behavior and because of how they treated him, especially women. And I think
that's interesting. So this is what I want to hear, because the two things I saw were posts, one from many, many years ago, which he later disavowed, saying that pedophilia was not bad if it was a willing participant, if the child was a willing participant. He then posted later, I've been told by I've been schooled and I was wrong. There's harm involved, and of course it's wrong. And then later, when the Jeffrey Epstein thing came up, he once again kind of stumbled into it by saying, well, a 17-year-old, what's the age of consent? That's probably okay. But this is the deeper story, and I want to hear what you have to say about this, Louise, because I don't know about this. A number of people are now starting to come forward saying, yeah, he really wasn't very cool towards women. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, and I think that those beliefs were maybe indicative of like an overall attitude. And I've seen a lot of kind of talk about like, what does this really mean for kind of the free software movement and for open source? Because I think that there's been this whole, movement about how it being open, about anyone being able to use it, about it being like this kind of utopian vision for what the future of technology would be. And I think this is one example of how it's not really open, right? Like there are gatekeepers. There are gatekeepers like him who actually stop a lot of women and other groups from participating in technology. And I think that's kind of what it was about. And it wasn't just about his beliefs on pedophilia. It wasn't like kind of strange beliefs. I think those beliefs manifested in the way that he treated people.
And then people started coming forward a little bit. Dana Boyd, when she received an EFF award, talked about being at MIT and talked about the really hot, kind of difficult climate. She transcended. She was able to continue, but it wasn't a very positive climate. And she was very angry about it. There was this tweet from Star Simpson. She said, I remember being walked around the MIT campus by an upperclassman during my freshman year. The upperclassman pointed out, look at all the plants in her office, referring to a professor. All the female CSAIL professors keep massive amounts of foliage in their office because Stallman hates plants and he won't come into their office because of it. That's a hostile environment. If you've got plants in your office to keep somebody out of it, that's not good. So
a hostile culture that just allows it to perpetuate.
I think that's the biggest story, isn't it? And we need women. Right. We need women in computer science. We need women at MIT. We need women at the Media Lab, to just to make sure that that diversity is not just women, but diversity, people of color too. Just to make sure that software does not build in the biases of white men.
I think it's also
Go ahead, Louise.
I just think that there's this excuse of like, oh, the weird eccentric genius, and this is a really good example of that. Of like, oh, you can because like. You're so brilliant. And that was definitely, I think what was at play here is that like, oh, we're just going to ignore his weird hatred of plants and his weird preferences because, it's worth it. And is it really worth it if people are getting treated so horribly?
It makes me sad because, now I understand and it's terrible, but he was an important figure in the computer science. I mean, I use Emacs. I use the editor he wrote. Should I stop using Emacs because he was a horrible person?
We always have that. It's a really complicated question, right? Like, do you stop listening to their music? Stop listening? Stop watching?
I still love Michael Jackson's music. Should I not like it anymore? It's so difficult. I'm so conflicted. I don't embrace the things that either of them did, but at all. They're horrible, horrific. And the things that Stallman said, horrific. And the culture that he and others created at MIT, horrific.
Right. The ethics there, we just haven't really sorted that out yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think, it's interesting to say I'm not going to use a software tool versus I'm not going to listen to Michael Jackson's music. One is art, one is not. Although you could argue, I guess, that coding is art.
That's a distinction. I'm not sure. That's an art. Emacs is an art. Emacs is an amazing thing.
Emacs is an art, but it's, music is something different. And it's an artistic expression.
So you're saying it's okay to like Michael Jackson's music, but not to use Emacs?
I think it's the other way around.
The other way around, okay.
Yeah.
I certainly am never going to watch a Bill Cosby comedy routine the same way.
No. No.
That's gone.
No.
That's over.
So
That's
my quick thoughts on this is like F them. I mean, it made the world a worse place, and I'm not going to support them in any way. I'm going to try to deplatform them as fast as I can, and then you hire for diversity, and you put diverse people in charge of the hiring, and then you create a way better world for everybody. And these things will fall into hopefully a terrible memory.
No problem going forward. Let's go forward in a positive, right way. But at the same time, you can't ignore the contributions these people made, even if they were horrible people.
How much of Emacs now is still Stallman? Because
a lot of it.
Yeah.
A ton.
There's always Vi. You could always switch to Vi.
Should you not drive a Ford because Henry Ford was an anti-Semite?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, we can go on and on. This is should you not listen to Wagner's music because he was a Nazi?
Yeah. No, I don't think we've kind of figured out the ethics of that yet.
It's hard.
It's hard. Yeah, it really is.
I think there's no question. We all agree. Going forward, let's not do this. Let's get rid of these people. Let's not let them taint going forward, taint computer science going forward. That's bad. I don't know. It's very difficult. I mean, I don't know if Linux would exist if it weren't for Richard Stallman, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's not black and white.
Well, and while it's not the equivalent, Linus Torvalds is kind of a jerk too.
He's a jerk, but so far I don't know if he's a misogynist jerk.
He's not an actionable jerk.
So you're allowed to be a jerk. I'm a jerk. You're allowed to be a jerk, but you're not allowed to discriminate against people because of for race, gender, religion, and take a field and
prey on them
and preying on them even worse, right? I don't know if Stallman preyed on women or was just a jerk about women. I don't know. I really don't.
And maybe it's one of the people that he drove out of STEM would have invented something better than Emacs, and now he has denied that to the world.
Exactly.
Right.
Let him burn.
I mean, honestly, the other shoe is going to drop. A lot of this is, by the way, because of Jeffrey Epstein, including this. Yeah. The other shoe that's going to drop is Google, is Sergey Brin and Eric Schmidt. I'm hearing lots of stories about
Andy Rubin.
And we know about Andy Rubin, very poor behavior that was part of the culture in the early days of Google. Louise, you're a woman.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. No old white man should have a say in this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's complicated, and I think it has to be kind of done on an individual basis. But I think that like the just like canceling is not helpful either. Like I think that we have to figure out when we do discover this behavior, like what is a good reconciliation, right? Like what kind of justice do we really want here? I think that that's something we haven't figured out, especially when the behavior is not criminal, right? When it's criminal, we have a legal system and it seems clear, but with something like Stallman, it's like, we don't know. And I think, how do you, as a community, especially like, the open software movement is a community. As a community, how do you deal with that? What do you do? And what is justice? I think that's something we haven't really figured out, especially not in tech.
Not to put you on the spot, but is there a discussion at all at Wired? Because Stallman had written a number of articles for Wired.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I can't like speak for the whole publication, but I think it's something that we definitely are thinking about and looking at for sure is how do you
do you take it down or do you put a thing up at the front that says, hey, disclaimer, Stallman's what do you do?
Right.
It's so hard.
Yeah, I think it's something we're still figuring out. Yeah, how do you give readers that context if they come across that article? Right. But it's still, I think, kind of an open question.
I think, though, clearly moving forward, this should not stand. This kind of behavior is not okay. It's not good for anybody, including men who use tech. It's just not a good thing. And
maybe you use it, and every mention of it you use as an educational opportunity, a denouncement and an educational opportunity.
Has anybody read the Edward Snowden book yet? It's coming out. There's a good excerpt, speaking of Wired, Why I Became a Whistleblower.
I heard him interviewed on NPR, and it was kind of interesting to hear his viewpoint. One of the weird things is that a lot of people think Edward Snowden is like working for the Russian government, and I find that line of thinking kind of strange and not true, because he did apply for asylum all across Europe, and no one.
They were the only people who would take him.
Yep. Yeah, only people would take him. And he has said over and over again, I will stand trial as long as I can use a public interest defense. And the government has said over and over again that they won't let him use that defense. So, he
may not have a choice because the Russian visa expires. I'm not sure when, but in the next few years, he's possibly going to be kicked out.
Yeah, that'll be kind of an interesting turning point. And now we have this lawsuit, right, that the government wants to seize all the profits from the book because he violated his NDA, which is just like, they really just don't give this guy a break. Can't even write a book.
He can write a book. He just can't they're not trying to censor the book. Yeah. They're just saying the profits, you can't get the profits of it.
Yeah. No, it is interesting that we're, still 6 years later from the disclosures.
Yeah.
But he's still such an important figure, and I'm excited to read the book.
I am too.
50 years from now, 100 years from now, it'll be interesting to see, or maybe even 20 years from now, it'll be interesting to see how he's regarded.
Yeah. I think there's no question he was a man of conscience. He acted on his conscience, and he felt that there was no other way but doing what he did. The normal whistleblower route was just not open to him. He tried and failed at the NSA to say, look what's going on. This is not right. This is not legal, and was rejected. And by the way, we're seeing that being a whistleblower is not necessarily a good position to be in right now.
Oh, it's huge risk. It's a huge risk.
Yeah. So maybe I understand why he did what he did. I think he did it out of conscience. He didn't do it out of maliciousness or out of some sort of profit motive. He did it, a very brave thing, because he was a patriot. He believed he was a patriot. So you have to respect that much anyway, whatever you feel about what he did. I think he did it in a very sane way, actually, trying to protect the people whose secrets he was revealing by sending it to a number of newspapers, having them vet it to make sure that anything that was released to the public did not compromise U.S. security or the security of individuals overseas. I think
it's easy to say, but if they believed it was that important, they just could have tried to make a law out of it and say, we need this, give us this right, give us this right, or this law.
Cool.
Okay, kids. C'est fini. Thank you so much for being here, Louise Matsakis from Wired. What are you working on right now? What's your next big story?
I'm tracking down some stuff about Amazon that I don't want to say too much about right now, but
that is a story that just keeps on giving, isn't it?
Yeah, it's such a big, sprawling company, and it's been really fun to do a lot of Amazon reporting lately.
What a great beat. What a great beat.
Yeah, if you get any weird orders on Amazon or just want anything strange, feel free to hit me up.
Okay. Okay. Like that book costing my book costing $800?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Somebody found an out-of-print, one of my books that's out of print, the Leo Laporte's Guide to TiVo on Amazon. Yeah.
It costs as much as a TiVo now with the subscription.
Exactly. Let me just check to see. Is that the kind of thing?
Still there?
Let me just check to see. I'm searching for it. Here it is. Yeah, $860.48. I don't think that's a fair price.
Maybe it's signed, Leo.
Even if it's signed. I got to write to Gareth Branwyn. He's the guy who really put the work in on this. Gareth, our book is worth $860.48. Why the 48 cents?
Where
does that come from?
That's what makes it look legit, Leo. That's how you do it.
Oh.
The Rube move is the 860, the Pro move.
There's 2 used for the same price. There's 1 new and 2 used. They all cost the same price.
Previously recorded. There's 2.
Wait a minute. Here's one for $992.
And it's in worse
then they
condition.
have the nerve to charge you $4 shipping and handling. That is nervy. Look, I think I should get free shipping for that. Jeez Louise.
Leo, if you have a few in your basement, you could put your kids through college again.
I'm telling you, I probably got 100 of them. I could really make a killing here. That's even
just one at a time, real slow.
Real slow. And the funny thing is, the book is completely useless because it's for the Series 1 TiVo, which is long gone. It doesn't have anything to do with a modern TiVo.
Probably super popular in some small island, and they're hoarding.
Yeah. Some algorithm said, no, you should charge $800 for this thing. Some algorithm somewhere.
Kent County, Ireland.
I will look for your explanation, Louise, on Wired.com. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. There she is. Does everybody who writes for Wired get that beautiful graphic of their picture?
Yeah, everyone on staff does. Yeah.
That's really
so if you click any
That's
staff
very
bio.
cool.
Did you pose for it, or did they just do it?
I just send it a picture.
That's their version of the dot drawings that you get if you ever get a profile in the Wall Street Journal. That's on my list of things.
Yeah, the New Yorker has like little drawings too.
Yeah. Any one of those, I'd take it. Thank you, Dwight Silverman. You find Dwight at HoustonChronicle.com/techburger, or get his brand new newsletter for free, HoustonChronicle.com/
Release notes.
I almost said release this. Release notes.
Release notes. We just did a survey of the readership. It came back with some really interesting results, and we're making some changes in it. But it's been really popular. It's one of the fastest growing newsletters that we've got, and the reaction has just been wonderful.
That's great.
And it takes a lot of work.
Oh, I know. That's why I don't do a newsletter.
I'm having big fun, and I really appreciate the reaction that people have had to it.
So great to see you again, Dwight. Renee, I'll get to see you in just a couple of days. Renee Ritchie is
he's showing up today because he can't come.
Oh, this is in lieu of a Tuesday?
In lieu of Tuesday.
Oh, well, can we just take all of his bits and insert them into Tuesday's show?
I'll get the editors working on that right now.
I bet you we could.
Deep fake myself.
Yeah. A deep fake Renee. Renee's at imore.com/vector. That's, boy, he does so many videos. All the reviews of the new phones. He calls it the new Night King, the iPhone 11. I love that. They're all there.
At least a month.
That's a hardworking guy. So no Tuesday. Where are you going somewhere?
Yeah, Lori Gill and I have our first big corporate meetup.
Going to
because
London?
we're part of a sprawling. No, they're doing it in New York, I think, because that's where the U.S. operation is.
Fun.
So we got to go meet our new corporate overlords.
Have a good time.
Hope they take mercy on us. Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I'm a little disappointed to find that you can also buy Leo Laporte's Guide to TiVo for £6.49 in the UK.
Buy them in England, sell them here, Leo.
Man, arbitrage. Leo
go.
book arbitrage. I could be rich.
Probably has the UK spellings for authorized.
Yes. Color. We do this
the
week.
U's really dropped on the value.
Oh, wait a minute. It's being sold from Richmond, Texas. That's interesting.
Oh, in Richmond.
In Richmond.
I ought to go down there and pick up a couple copies.
Ergo de Books. That's a funny name. Ergo de Books is selling my book for a mere £6.
That's just down the road.
Yeah. Go ask him why that other guy's charging $800 and why he's not charging $800. We can create a whole thing going on here. We do This Week in Tech every Sunday afternoon after the radio show, about 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern Time, 21:30 UTC. You can ask your Amazon Echo to play it. Just say, Echo, play Twit Live, and it'll play whatever's going on in the live stream at that time. You can also go to our website, twit.tv/live, and watch video or listen to audio of our show. If you're doing that, you should certainly be in the chat room where everybody else who's listening live or watching live is hanging out at irc.twit.tv. On-demand versions of the show will be available as soon as our editors can cut out all the bad stuff. That's going to take a long time tonight. Long time. You can, no, they don't cut anything out. Everything is kept in. We might bleep Louise a couple of times because she said.
I apologize for that.
Potty mouth, Louise.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry.
I don't care. It was, in both cases, very appropriate. Just go to twit.tv and you'll find our show there, or subscribe in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, Stitcher, any podcast app. Just search for This Week in Tech. You'll find the show. Subscribe. You'll get it every Sunday the minute it's available, just in time for your Monday morning commute. If you want to join us in studio, what a great studio audience we had. Really nice to have you all from all over the world. If you want to be in studio, just email tickets at twit.tv. Be ashamed to come all the way from New Zealand or the UK or Germany, and then the doors are locked. So do email tickets at twit.tv. Make sure you can get in. We do love having you here. And I guess that's it. All I have to say is another twit is in the can. Bye-bye.